I'm Sean Malone. Along with soccer matches, another Olympic event is coming to St. Louis ahead of the LA Games. I'll tell you which one coming up.
How did St. Louis land the Olympics marathon trials?
This wouldn't happen without true collaboration.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. A new study raises cancer concerns over drinking even small amounts of alcohol. That story is coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire. Warm today, a spotty afternoon thunderstorm as sun gives way to clouds, high 90.
It's 6 o'clock. The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. After more than 18 hours, the Senate has passed a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill. Alaska's Lisa Murkowski, the only Republican to join Democrats in voting against it, and the stipulation it contained banning President Trump's $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. The bill will fund ICE and Border Patrol through the end of the president's term. The House passing a bill to aid Ukraine and to sanction key segments of the Russian economy. There's a hearing scheduled today in front of an appeals court over the massive ballroom President Trump says is a national security issue. A federal judge issued an injunction 3 months ago, says ABC's Peter Haralambos.
Judge Richard Leon back in March ruled that Trump went well beyond his authority in building this ballroom without getting any kind of authorization from Congress.
Amid a heightened threat environment, some are warning about security at World Cup matches, the first ones beginning in less than a week. This is ABC News. We're learning more about what Pam Bondi told lawmakers last week during her interview about the release of the Epstein files. ABC's Peter Haralambos has more from Washington.
Former Attorney General Pam Bondi both defended the Department of Justice's handling of the Epstein files while distancing herself from parts of the controversial case. She told the House Oversight Committee that her deputy, Todd Blanche, who Trump says he plans to nominate to be Attorney General, was, quote, leading the Epstein matter and the release of everything from the beginning. When a lawmaker accused her of blaming Blanche, Bondi pushed back and said he did a, quote, excellent job with the release of 3 million files. Blanche is expected to face an uphill battle securing confirmation from the Senate. Peter Haralambos, ABC News.
According to a new report on former Prince Andrew, a longtime ally of Jeffrey Epstein, a UK public spending watchdog says he made money by subletting cottages on the estate where he lived rent-free for decades. This is ABC News.
6:02, we have partly cloudy skies, 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, June 5th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Brian Feldman. Our top story, St. Louis will now be hosting multiple Olympic events in 2028.
St. Louis will be hosting the U.S. Olympic trials for the marathon in March of 2028 ahead of the Summer Games. This marks the second of possibly 3 Olympic events the city will host in 2028, according to St. Louis Sports Commission President Mark Schreiber.
We will have the U.S. Olympic Marathon trials, likely the Olympic torch relay, not a done deal yet, but I'd say the odds are good, and the previously announced Olympic soccer matches.
According to Washington University Chancellor Andrew Martin, the first ever Olympic marathon race in the United States began and ended on their campus in St. Louis. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
This wouldn't happen without true collaboration.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the big picture that Mayor Spencer sees from this latest Olympics announcement.
For me, this is so exciting for 2028, but really just showcases our region's ability to work together on big things.
The marathon trials will be televised live on NBC. And if you've seen, say, one of the NASCAR races through a city like Chicago, you know how picturesque a cityscape can be for sports.
Marathons are hosted on the streets of the city they're in. And so this is really an opportunity to really showcase our city.
She says departments will step up on the basics like filling potholes and clearing trash to be ready for the visitors and the viewers from around the world.
Missouri's largest kratom distributor agreeing to stop selling the substance in the state. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says American Shaman suspending all in-state sales of kratom and its alkaloids, including 7-OH, both in stores and online. The deal ends a lawsuit Hanaway's office filed in March, which alleged the company used free samples and misleading marketing to hook customers on what she calls dangerous opioids. American Shaman has 30 days to put controls in place to block Missouri retail sales. It faces a $5 million penalty if it breaks that agreement.
St. Louis Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore has reduced the homicide backlog to 186 during his 3 years in office, while hiring on attorneys to fill the many vacant positions he inherited Asked what challenges he still faces, he says keeping them. While he acknowledges a higher salary helps, he says even more attorneys and will reduce their caseload and make the job less stressful.
I hope that by this time next year, we will be at that 57 budgeted number, and we would be asking for additional attorneys to help to continue to get caseloads down to a manageable level.
Gore also says they are doing little things like establishing a well-being committee to help keep office morale up and burnout down.
The St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners reacting to the mayor's latest criticism in the two sides' heated budgetary battle. Mayor Kara Spencer says a just-revealed plan to give commanders raises of up to 22% would wreck the city budget, which must be finalized within weeks. Asked to react, Police Department spokesman Mitch McCoy calls the fight political theater.
The mayor's comments are not helpful to the shared common goal I think we all have as St. Louisans.
The board put off a decision on the raises until June 17th.
Eureka police shot a person during a domestic call last night. Happened around 8 p.m. in the 1500 block of Cascade Lane in the Windswept Farms subdivision. Fox 2 reports the Eureka Police Department says their officers encountered an armed individual who fired shots at the officers, with them returning fire. A statement from Eureka Police did not say if the shooter was killed. However, no officers were injured in the exchange.
A surge of car break-ins across the city led to 7 arrests Thursday night, not all of them stuck. Around 12:30 Thursday morning, neighbors reported a group ransacking cars near Waterman. Officers and an anti-crime task force caught 4 of them in the act on McPherson. One 20-year-old Joshua Davis now charged. 3 others were teenagers, 15, 16, and 17, and sent to juvenile court on burglary counts.
Police spokesperson Mitch McCoy.
We are told that at least 2 of the juveniles were released because they did not have enough points for those juveniles to be held.
Just hours later, officers stopped 3 more men tugging on car door handles in the same area. One of them, 19-year-old Willie Davis, carrying a gun and now faces an attempted break-in charge. The department also announced an arrest in a run of smashed-up storefront windows on South Grand.
There's a major shakeup at the $500 million Oasis at Lakeport project at Lake of the Ozarks. The development team says it's removing St. Louis developer Jeff Tegetoff after his company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy Monday. The group says it had already pulled him from managing the project's legal entities and is well capitalized to keep the building. The amusement park, parking garage, and boat slip still on track to open in spring of 2027.
American Airlines suspending several routes for the summer. The move comes as jet fuel prices continue to increase due to the war in Iran. The affected flights will be suspended from August until September and mainly out of Los Angeles and Charlotte. The airline says impacted travelers will be offered a refund or alternative travel arrangements.
We'll get a check of the roads and the weather forecast for this weekend coming up in 2 minutes here on Total Information AM. It's now 6:07.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
6:09 on this Friday, June 5th. I'm Brian Feldman alongside Megan Lynch. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brain and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are in great shape right now, Brian. Very light traffic out on the area highways. I'm not seeing any issues, though. We did have delays westbound 70 west of Wenthrop Parkway, but this morning they got it all picked up on time. 2 days this week, we had crashes out there westbound 70 as they were trying to wrap up road work, and so it kept that jam alive for quite a while, but not so today. We're looking good there, and generally Friday mornings are lighter traffic anyway, so we look good in the other work zones so far. Northbound 55 coming through 141 to the Merrimack's okay. 270 around Ladue, you look good. 64 in Fairview Heights is fine, but they did make that change overnight at 1 a.m. this morning. They opened the ramps from westbound 64 onto 159, that exit ramp, and the 159 ramps onto westbound 64 that were closed for the last 2 weeks should all be open now. But at 1 a.m. this morning, they closed everything there eastbound. So that means the eastbound 64 exit to 159 is now closed, and the ramps from 159 onto eastbound 64 again closed as well. And this will be for another 2-week stretch, just like it was on the westbound side. And you still look okay. Speaking of road work on 5570 as well, between 203 and 255, they're doing road work both directions there these days. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Sun will give way to more clouds for today, and there'll be a thunderstorm in some places during the afternoon. The high will be near 90. Warm and humid with a low of 72 tonight. A thunderstorm for some spots late tonight into tomorrow. Otherwise, partly sunny, hot, and humid tomorrow with a high around 90. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm are mostly later in the day Sunday, high 85. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Partly cloudy skies this morning, 71 degrees both in Florissant and St. Peters, and we have 69 degrees reported downtown at the Arch.
Cards and Reds tonight at Busch, and the Battlehawks have a couple of fan-friendly events coming up. I'll tell you about those coming up in sports.
The news continues at 6:12. A St. Louis man sentenced to 18 years in prison for a string of armed robberies in Fox Park in the Central West End. 24-year-old Terrell Hall sentenced Wednesday for armed robberies from January 22nd and 23rd of this year. Hall already on probation for 3 separate attempted first-degree robberies in the city. And following the sentence, his probation was revoked, and he was sentenced to 15 more years.
A man who attacked 7 people in Tower Grove Park sentenced to 25 years in prison. 61-year-old Austin Fitzgerald has pleaded guilty to 13 felonies in connection with attacks in the park from last August. Fitzgerald's crimes include threatening people with a pistol, sexually abusing a woman, and hitting victims with brass knuckles.
Headed downtown this weekend? You won't be alone. St. Louis bracing for thousands of visitors as a wave of events hit all at once. Cardinals baseball, the National Pickleball Championship, and a big international soccer friendly happening right across from police headquarters. Police spokesperson Mitch McCoy says now's the time to make a plan.
If you're going to be drinking, ride share, start making those preparations now. And then, of course, if you see something suspicious, please say something. Call 911 immediately or tell a police officer.
McCoy says expect uniformed officers, undercover detectives, and the Real-Time Crime Center to all keep watch over downtown.
There's a new fuel for St. Louisans frustrated by delayed mail, this time from the federal regulator who oversees the Postal Service. We've reported on people across the region dealing with missing and late mail for more than a year, problems a federal audit traced to staffing and operations at the region's distribution center. At a congressional hearing Thursday, Metro East Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski pressed the Postal Regulatory Commission about the agency's nationwide network restructuring.
Vice Chair Robert Taub did not hold back.
It gives me no joy to say that, unfortunately, more than a year in under that plan, which they ignored our advice, in fact, criticized us, that we didn't know what we were talking about, that we're just a burden, has come to fruition.
The Postal Service has defended the changes as necessary to dig out of billions of dollars in losses. Budzinski, co-chair of the bipartisan Postal Service caucus, has pushed back on cuts that could slow delivery and also against proposals to privatize the mail.
Mail delays again getting attention on Washington after a congressional hearing yesterday. Congressman Wesley Bell of St. Louis says it's been an ongoing concern in his district, including findings from an audit last year of multiple delivery sites across the St. Louis region.
They found delayed mail at every single one. My constituents didn't need an audit to tell them that. They've known it for years. But now it's documented, it's on the record, and there's no excuse for it not to be fixed.
Yesterday's hearing follows a warning from Postmaster General David Steiner, who recently told Congress the Postal Service could run out of money within a year if nothing changes. It's now 6:15.
Our Redbird Report is sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. It's the start of a 3-game series tonight at Busch Stadium. It'll be the Cards and the Reds. The Cardinals trying to get back on the winning track after taking just one in the 3-game series from the Rangers. They open the weekend 32-28. They're third in the National League Central Division behind the Brewers and the Pirates. Cincinnati is fifth, but they still have a winning record at 31-30. Kyle Leahy starts for the Cards tonight. He's 5-3 with a 4.25 ERA, and he had a really good month of May. 2-0 with a 2.8 ERA in 5 starts last month. He did face the Reds in May. In fact, 2 weeks ago, he allowed 5 runs in 5 innings. The Cards came back in that game, but the Reds won that game in extra innings. Brady Singer, a right-hander, goes for the Reds tonight. He's 2-5 with a 6.18 ERA. He's 0-4 with a 7.77 ERA in 5 May starts. Singer has made 5 career starts against the Cardinals, and he's 2-3 with a 3.04 ERA. First pitch is 7:15 tonight at Busch Stadium. Our pregame coverage gets underway at 6:20. Meanwhile, the Gateway Grizzlies wrapped up a series on the road last night.
The Gateway Grizzlies avoided being swept in Washington, Pennsylvania on Thursday night in dramatic fashion, scoring 2 runs in the top of the 10th inning and walking away from EQT Park with a 3-2 win over the Washington Wild Things. With an update on the Grizzlies for KMOX Sports, I'm the voice of the Grizzlies, Jason Garrett. The Grizzlies got a solo home run from Bryson Horn leading off the 4th inning against Washington starter Maddox Long, and that staked them to a 1-0 lead, while Gage Vales was dominant on the mound for the Grizzlies, eventually pitching 6 2/3 innings of 1-run ball and retiring 14 Washington batters in a row at one point. The 1 run came on a game-tying solo home run by Washington's Ryan Ford in the 7th, and it eventually went to the 10th inning, where with 1 out and a runner at third, Victor Castillo came up with one of the best hits he's had all season, an RBI triple that plated the automatic base runner in the international tiebreaker and made it 2-1. He was followed by Jose Alvarez's RBI single, which made it 3-1. Andrew Ronnie, who pitched a scoreless 9th, would also throw the 10th, and after a RBI single by Hunter Stokely made it a 1-run game, he got Connor Peak to fly out to left to end the ball game as the Grizzlies secured a winning 4-2 road trip. Gateway now comes back home to Sauget to open up a 9-game homestand Friday night at Arsenal BG Ballpark, taking on the Mississippi Mud Monsters. All the action can be heard starting at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on Odyssey.com and the free Odyssey app.
Well, the Battlehawks will host 2 fan-friendly events ahead of the team's playoff game this weekend. Fans have the opportunity to visit the Playoff Prize Machine for chances to win exclusive Battlehawks prizes, playoff tickets, premium experiences, and a grand prize awarded each day. That is a trip to the United Bowl presented by Credit One Bank in Washington, D.C. That includes airfare and hotel accommodations. It'll be Friday from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock at Union Station, Saturday from 4 to 8 at City Foundry, and that includes appearances by Ricky Prohl and select Battlehawks players. That'll be 5 o'clock Saturday at the City Foundry event. The Battlehawks will host a semifinal playoff game. That's against the Louisville Kings Sunday at 5 o'clock at the Dome. Next sports update is 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen. Izzy, what's going on, man?
Hey, you know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At 6:20, it's time to check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We got a crash out in St. Charles County now, Brian. This traffic reports a service at McKelvey Homes, St. Peter's Howell Road at McClay. They're sending emergency crews there, so watch for some restrictions and delays in the next few minutes while they deal with that. But once you hit the main roads, the main thoroughfares, interstates are looking great on both sides of the river. Again, lighter traffic in general on a Friday morning, so I wouldn't expect to see too much. But right now, you still look okay. 55 coming up through 141 in Arnold, 270 around Ladue in the construction zone on the Illinois side, 55-70 between 255 and 203 and 64 in the Fairview Heights area. Everything is light and on the move, even where we have lane restrictions. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Looks like it's going to be a warm day today. Sunshine is going to give way to more clouds as we head through the day with a thunderstorm possible this afternoon, a high near 90. For tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and humid, an overnight low of 72. Right now, partly cloudy skies, 69 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
The news continues at 6:22. Cool down St. Louis, handing out nearly 1,000 window AC units to those less fortunate. The units donated by Ameren, Missouri. KMOX asked their Vice President, Tara Oglesby, if they've seen a change in the need over the years.
We're checking on our neighbors more. We're understanding more. We're learning more. We're seeing what's out there, and we're hearing and working and partnering across the communities, to really understand what's out there. It definitely takes a village to support the needs of the communities that we serve.
She says they have also seen the need of the community continuing to grow.
It's now 6:22. Here's Debbie Monterey.
Have you ever been curious about what it's like to live in downtown St. Louis? Dan Pister is joining us. He is the chairman of the Downtown Neighborhood Association. And welcome to KMOX.
Yeah, hi, welcome.
Yeah, we're here in the neighborhood too. Officially Downtown West, but are we still included?
We are still included, yes, in downtown and downtown West.
Okay, perfect. This is going to be a great opportunity for people to really get inside and see what city living is like with the Downtown Neighborhood Tour.
The Downtown Living Tour is going to take place on June 13th from 11 to 4. We're going to have at least a dozen properties that everybody can do a self-guided tour and view on their own. We will have shuttles. We will have free tickets from the MetroLink where you can kind of go back and forth to different areas. And we will have an after party at one of the businesses located nearby called the Thaxton Speakeasy afterwards for everybody just to congregate and mingle. We want to make it like an experience where people can enjoy some of the unique living spaces that we have, and as well as experience the neighborhood and all the businesses that we have and how we kind of live our daily life.
A lot of people may just think of Washington Avenue when they think of where people live downtown, but it has gotten much broader than that over the last, say, decade, right?
Yeah, correct. Still, the concentration is still focused on Washington Avenue and the old Post Office Plaza, but we do have additional apartments that have popped up on Spruce over in Ballpark Village and then further west on Locust as well. So it is expanding, and that's good to see.
And we've done quite a few stories over the years of buildings that are being repurposed or new apartments that are coming online. And I know Oliver Properties has been really dedicated to getting more residents downtown, but also more amenities, because that's a super important part of living downtown, right? Is just being able to walk to stuff.
Yeah, correct. I think that's what we want to showcase. We did a survey earlier this year about why people move downtown. And the two biggest responses were walkability and unique living spaces. So we have some of the most unique buildings, that converted warehouses into loft spaces, and they're very unique. You can't find them anywhere else in the region. And then you can actually walk to places there's amenities all around you while you're living in these buildings. You can walk to a national park. You can walk and have dinner. You can go to a sporting event. You can go to a concert. There's so many different things that you can do outside of your building as well.
Are these apartments that people can check out, are these occupied, or are these apartments that are kind of like the model apartments, or a combination?
Yes. So that's going to be at the discretion of the building. Mostly, I think they would be model apartments or ones that are kind of staged. A little over a dozen buildings, and I think 9 are going to be rental buildings. And then there's 3 owner-occupied for-sale condos as well that we're featuring, because we want to include those. That's an important part.
What kind of comments do you hear from people when they do come downtown and see some of these spaces and see how actual people live in this neighborhood, which downtown is a neighborhood?
Yeah, they're not really a lot of times familiar with what's going on downtown. And when they do see the spaces, they're kind of shocked about how nice they are and how unique they are, and some of the walkability options that are nearby. So there is, some surprise, and they're curious after that, and they want to explore more.
That is the Downtown Neighborhood Association wanting to show off the neighborhood to you with the Discover Downtown Living home tour, showcasing a number of living spaces Saturday, June 13th. Dan Pister is with DNA, the Downtown Neighborhood Association. I hope you have a great turnout and great weather.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie. We appreciate it.
Tickets for the Downtown Living Tour, $20. You can get them day of at the Post Office Plaza at 9th and Locust.
Grab your baskets, strawberry lovers. The Kimmswick Strawberry Festival is back. Kimmswick Mayor Kenneth Kraft III says this year's festival will feature around 400 booths filled with food, produce, artisan goods like hats and furniture, and live music.
Our vendors are from all over the United States. I have not done it so far this year, but last year when I walked around and talked to them, we had people from 33 states. The farthest one we've actually had was from Quebec, Canada.
The festival runs Friday and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It'll cost you $10 to park, but after that, entry is free.
It's now 6:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. Still ahead on Total Information AM. St. Louis wins a big Olympic bid. We'll tell you more.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renters also hire experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched the playoffs and earned dome field advantage. Playoff football is coming back to St. Louis, Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at UFLBattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
At 6:30, we have mostly cloudy skies and 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, June 5th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Let's see if there are any problems on the roads on this Friday morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, not on the highway so far, Megan. We still look good on 55 coming up through 141 to the Merrimack. 270 around Ladue looks good. Out west, 70 coming in from Warrenton through Wright City. Forestell, everything's fine there on the Illinois side. 64 through 159 and 255 between, or 5570 rather, between 255 and 203. I'm not seeing any delays. Just on the secondaries, starting to see a little more volume, a little bit of a backup eastbound 30 at Gravois Bluffs, and it's just kind of slow from right around Mauer Industrial up the hill to 270. Have that crash, but again, I just see a little bit of a slowdown. St. Peter's Howell Road at Maclay, so it looks like traffic's getting through. Just maybe have a lane block, so not a jam there, so that's a good sign. But like I said, otherwise, the interstates and major secondaries are pretty quiet right now. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Your weather forecast over the weekend is going to be pretty hot. Meteorologist Heather Zare tells us it's going to be warm with some sunshine, giving way to more clouds. Possible thunderstorm this afternoon, high near 90 degrees tonight. Mostly cloudy, warm and humid, low of 72. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies and 69 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 6:31. The St. Louis Sports Commission announcing St. Louis will be the host city for the U.S. Olympic trials, the marathon ahead of the 2028 games. President Mark Schreiber recounts the moment they knew they were being awarded the event when he saw a former gold medalist from East St. Louis on the Zoom call with USA Track and Field.
Up pops Jackie. And at that moment, huge relief, because I'm thinking there's no way they have Jackie Joyner-Kersee on this call and they're going to tell us we're not getting the event.
Schreiber says winning the bid over other cities like Phoenix was an exciting moment, and he looks back to the busy time they had around the application deadline.
The bid for the trials was due on December 1st. 1 week earlier, our staff executed a flawless Musial Awards. A month later, they organized the U.S. Figure Skating Championships, and we all know how that went.
The Olympics will also keep St. Louis busy as they're set to host Olympic soccer matches.
I'm Michael Calhoun. The marathon trials live on TV could wind up being a postcard for the city, says Mayor Spencer.
The stage is the city. The city is the stage of the event. And so unlike other Olympic sports or sports in general where they're hosted inside of a stadium, marathons are hosted on the streets of the city they're in. And so this is really an opportunity to really showcase our city.
How does St. Louis get the streets ready for the national stage and the Olympic runners' feet? She says they'll keep working on the roads, filling potholes, and also keep the trash cleared.
Dan Deerdorf is being inducted into the Missouri Broadcasters Hall of Fame. A member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Deerdorf spent his entire 13-year career with the St. Louis Football Cardinals. Then he transitioned to broadcasting.
And I had a job waiting for me at KMOX, which was an unbelievable luxury for me to be able to continue my football career and at the same time to know exactly what I was going to do when my football playing days concluded.
Dan's broadcasting talents known nationally from his NFL Network work on ABC's Monday Night Football and later as a member of CBS's NFL broadcast team.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We have your money report from Bloomberg next. It's 6:34.
Before a nation, there was an idea. Before freedom, there was a sacrifice. This year, KMOX marks America's 250th birthday. Step into history with John Hancock and Michael Kelley, Sunday mornings at 8, as they pull you into the moment where everything was on the line. This is the sound of a nation being born. Celebrate America, 250 years strong, with Hancock and Kelley, Sunday mornings at 8, only on KMOX.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
At 6:35, it's time for your Money Report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Verizon's top executive says artificial intelligence will replace a large percentage of work that customer service reps do. CEO Dan Schulman is certain AI will cause, quote, disruption in certain job functions. He believes AI will help customers get answers to easy questions like recovering a lost password. For difficult requests, he sees human employees and AI agents working together. Verizon has set aside $20 million to help retrain workers for the AI era. On the radar for investors today, the May jobs report. The data is expected to show an 88,000 increase in non-farm payrolls. S&P futures are looking at a lower open. And soon, Walmart may be delivering your Subway sandwich. Beginning this month, customers in select locations can order Subway directly through the Walmart app or walmart.com. This is Walmart's first restaurant integration within express delivery. Subway is Walmart's largest in-store restaurant tenant. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Reds. Ameren Total Access 620. First pitch 7:15. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have traffic coming up for you. More news now, though. Ukraine's president pushing Russian leader Vladimir Putin for new negotiations to end the war that started with Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. It's the first public written message from Vladimir Zelensky to Putin and comes after Ukraine stepped up its long-range attacks into Russia.
After more than 18 hours inside the chamber, Senate Republicans have passed a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill after weeks of delays. ABC reports Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, the only Republican to join Democrats in voting against the bill. Not included in this package, much to Democrats' dismay, limits or a ban for President Trump's so-called anti-weaponization fund, which has received criticism from both sides of the aisle.
Let's get the latest on the roads for you on this Friday morning from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, interstate-wise, we're still looking great, Megan. This traffic reports a service of United Way of Greater St. Louis, helpingpeople.org. I don't see any delays on 55 coming up through 141 to the Merrimack and the work zone. 270 both directions around 64 in Ladue, and that construction area is fine. 70 coming in from out west, Warrenton, Wright City areas, Forestel, everything's looking good. And on the Illinois side, 64 at Fairview Heights and 5570, 255 to 203. Still not enough volume to cause delays, although they are working in both directions on that stretch of roadway. Eastbound Highway 30. A little back up at Gravois Bluffs, and it's heavy from Mauer Industrial, backs up about midway up the hill to 270 from there. And they're wrapping up an earlier injury crash on St. Peter's Howe Road at Maclay. I saw a little bit of a delay at the intersection. Traffic was getting through. It was just a little slow. It didn't look bad. They're reporting a tanker truck that possibly has a fire on it, but they haven't found it yet. Westbound 70 from Riverview heading out of the city, but right now traffic looks like it's on the go through that area as well. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
When our neighbors need support, United Way brings people together, helping families, helping children, helping people through everyday challenges, and building hope for tomorrow. Unite with us at helpingpeople.org.
At 6:41, let's check our weather forecast with meteorologist Heather Zare, and it looks like it's going to be hot and humid this weekend.
Yep, it definitely is. We already have some clouds mixing with the sun. We're going to see more in the way of clouds overall as we go deeper into the day, and eventually a thunderstorm for this afternoon as well. High about 90 degrees, so it is going to be a bit on the hot side, and it stays warm and humid with lots of clouds and a low of 72 tonight. A thunderstorm will be around in a few spots late tonight and on into the day tomorrow. Not everyone's going to see that. It'll be partly sunny, hot, and humid overall with a high of 90. And then as clouds break for sun on Sunday, we also have a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially later in the day. And it is going to be a humid day, even though the heat backs off. Our high will be 85. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm again. Highs still in the middle 80s on Monday. Then hotter and humid with clouds and sun for Tuesday. A thunderstorm in spots and a high back to 92 degrees. Right now, 69 in St. Peter's, 70 in Florissant, 71 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'll tell you who's hot as the Cards open a series tonight with the Reds. That's coming up in sports.
More news now at 6:43 in the health world.
More downstream benefits. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. New research suggests those new weight loss GLP-1 medications may be linked to a lower risk of breast cancer. ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula.
So this was a review of records from the UPenn Health System of women who were ages 45 to 80 over the last several years who were overweight or obese to see who went on to develop breast cancer. And they looked at who took GLPs and who didn't. And they found that those women on GLPs had a reduced risk of developing breast cancer by about 30%. So you might wonder, how could there be a link there? And there's a couple of reasons. First of all, we know that overweight or obesity is associated with breast cancer risk, particularly in postmenopausal women. So before menopause, this. The ovaries produce most of your estrogen. Fat cells produce a little bit, but after menopause, your fat cells produce the estrogen for the majority of women who are, again, postmenopausal, and that circulating higher level of estrogen could fuel breast cancer. That's number one. Number two, overweight or obesity is a pro-inflammatory state. We know that inflammation is associated with risk of cancers, and obesity is associated with elevated insulin. Insulin has also been shown to drive certain cancers, particularly breast cancer.
With 60 seconds to better health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
A new report on gun violence finds that Black Illinois residents 26 times more likely to be shot to death than white residents, and 35 times for males. WBBM's Mike Krauser reports.
This comes from an annual report compiled by the Violence Policy Center and One AIM Illinois. Josh Sugarman is the executive director of the Violence Policy Center.
The data from this study comes from the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which is the leading federal resource for this type of gun death data. This is the sort of thing that the gun lobby or the gun industry cannot really say that, we're misleading in any way. It's in black and white, and it's very alarming.
Sugarman says while black residents make up about 14% of the Illinois population, they account for nearly 69% of firearm homicide victims. Mike Krauser, News Radio 1059 WBBM.
Who's Hot, Who's Not is sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. As the Cardinals open a series with the Reds tonight at Busch Stadium, the leadoff man has been playing well.
Chatted with the Rangers dugout. There's a base hit the other way for Weatherholt. First pitch he sees. Cardinals have a base runner, which brings the tying run to the plate.
J.J. Weatherholt doesn't just have hits in his last few games. In fact, he has multiple hits in 5 of his last 6 games. He had 7 hits in last weekend's series with the Cubs, and over the last week, he's hitting .321. He's also got a .738 OPS at the top of the Redbirds lineup. Someone who's not been particularly hot, in fact, he's downright struggled, that's tonight's Reds starter, Brady Singer. Singer just 2-5 with a 6.18 earned run average overall this year, and he was 0-4 with an ERA near 8 in 5 May starts. He does have 5 career starts against the Redbirds. He's 2-3 with a 3.04 earned run average. We also expect the Cards to activate Lars Nootbaar ahead of this series. There will have to be a corresponding move to be made, but there has not yet been official word from the Cardinals. Cards and Reds start that series tonight, 7:15. That's the first pitch. 6:20 is our pregame coverage. Bad news for the Yankees as star outfielder Aaron Judge has been diagnosed with a stress fracture of the first rib on his right side. Now, he is expected to return this season. That, according to an announcement from the Yankees last night. The 3-time AL MVP has missed 3 straight games so far as he underwent tests to pinpoint the reason for his discomfort and what has hampered him for an extended period of time. It looks like he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. The Yankees says that's when he will be re-imaged. Stanley Cup finals are now tied at a game apiece thanks to some late heroics last night for the Hurricanes.
Here's Svechnikov and Aho. These gentlemen would quiet all the critics wondering where they've been if they score the game winner in overtime. Goss to spare. They score! Seth Jarvis quiets the critics and ignites the crowd.
Seth Jarvis with the game winner. Seth Jarvis, that is. That was Sean McDonough on ESPN last night. It was a 2-2 game in the third period when Jordan Staal gave Carolina a lead with inside of 5 minutes to play, only to have Mark Stone tie it for Vegas with less than 2 minutes to go in regulation. That is what forced overtime. Game 3 of that series is tomorrow night in Las Vegas. NBA Finals Game 2 is tonight in San Antonio, and the Knicks lead that series 1-0. Next sports update is 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman for St. Louis Composting. Composting is very important. Soil is very important. Mulch is very important. For your yard, soil with 5% or more organic matter is the gold standard. It creates better structure. It locks in nutrients. It dramatically improves water retention. Now is the perfect time for a full landscape cleanup. Add compost to your garden beds to prep for planting season. And mulch. Refresh your entire landscape with a fresh layer of mulch in your flower beds and around your trees. It's the fastest way to make your yard pop with a beautiful, well-kept look. How do you do all of that? You just go to stlcompost.com. They have a menu of everything you could possibly want or need. They even have a material calculator at stlcompost.com to figure out exactly how much soil or mulch your project requires. 9 retail locations all over the area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
City SC's Summer of Soccer, presented by Purina, kicks off on Friday, June 12th with the biggest soccer celebration in St. Louis. This festival-style watch party on Lou Fuse Plaza at Energizer Park is free for all and open to the public. Show up at 5 p.m. for live music, local food and drink, giveaways, special appearances, and a live viewing of USA versus Paraguay on 5 massive screens. Learn more at summerofsoccerstl.com.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark, $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now, cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now the news at 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 6:50. Let's see how things are moving for you on this Friday morning. They're usually pretty quiet. Hopefully that's still the case. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it still looks good around the metro area so far this morning, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. We do have a little bit of a slowdown, though, on the ramp from southbound 61 getting onto eastbound 70. Yesterday, that ramp was backing up to Wentworth Parkway, but lighter volume today. We'll see how it plays out, but right now it's just a slowdown. And we also have some slow traffic approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard into Bryan Road. Don't see much in the way of delays, just a little slowdown. It never really looked bad anyway. St. Peter's Howell Road at McClay out in the St. Peter's area. They were wrapping up an earlier injury crash there. But otherwise, the rest of these highways, even in the construction zones, North 55 coming up to Arnold, 270 at Ladue, 64 in Fairview Heights, and 5570 between 255 and 203, both directions still on the go. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Meteorologist Heather Zare tells us it's going to be hot and humid this weekend. Warm sunshine giving way to more clouds today. Possible thunderstorm around the afternoon, high near 90 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and humid, low of 72. Tomorrow, possible thunderstorm late into the day. Otherwise, partly sunny, hot and humid, high near 90 degrees. And then more sun, more humidity. Mainly in the afternoon is when that humidity comes, high of 85 degrees. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies and 70 degrees downtown at the Arch.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family-operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
6:52, more news now. A new report finds an association between alcohol consumption and 20 different health outcomes. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
This study concluded that even small amounts of alcohol consumption can lead to a higher risk of 10 different types of cancer, including colorectal, esophagus, breast, liver, pancreas, and prostate cancer. ABC News chief medical correspondent Dr. Tara Narula.
So the risk did seem to increase with the more alcohol you consumed. However, many of these cancers were even associated with risk when you were talking about less than 1 standard drink per day, so not a lot of alcohol. They found that alcohol was associated with chronic liver disease, pancreatitis, lower respiratory tract infections, tuberculosis, and arrhythmias like atrial fib and atrial flutter.
Dr. Narula says it would be hard for doctors now to say drinking any alcohol is healthy, even though there is a slight cardiovascular benefit. But if you should drink, she says, just be aware of the risk. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
With prices rising, how are the companies that make the goods we purchase holding up? KMOX's Total Information AM asked St. Louis Federal Reserve economist and Assistant Vice President Chuck Gaskin.
If you look at manufacturing related to home building activity and all the supplies that go into it, that's been weak. Auto manufacturing's been weak. Some of the things that we've heard more recently is related to kind of energy and power generation manufacturing, and that equipment manufacturing that's been relatively strong. And then more recently, also defense production is picking up.
Gaskin also says when it comes to construction, there's a pause in the housing market that could be attributed in part to higher mortgage rates.
Looking for a seasonal job, the St. Louis Department of Personnel hosting a hiring fair today. The department's senior human resources specialist, Tanya McNary Farr, says they're looking to fill more than 100 positions in the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry departments.
The utility worker roles pay $16.91 an hour. The recreation positions, I believe, are $16.66, and the lifeguard positions pay $17 an hour.
Tomorrow's hiring fair will take place at the Slate, Missouri Job Center. Again, that's today's hiring fair at the Slate, Missouri Job Center from 9 a.m. to noon.
Today's a great day for outdoorsy Missourians. It's National Trails Day. Laffy Schweischuth with the Missouri Department of Conservation says while today's weather is great for an outdoor walk, another time is even better.
Sometimes after a good rain, that's the best time to get out on our trails because that's when you get to see the waterfalls at their best.
He also says same goes after heavy snow.
Things are still kind of cold. Sometimes that's the best time to see ice on our waterfalls and just get out of the house for a little bit, especially if it's a little bit warmer day.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Celebrity birthdays on June 5th include movie actor Mark Wahlberg. He is 54 years old today. Rapper Santan Dave is 27. Bassist Pete Wentz is 46. TV actor Nick Kroll is 47. And football player Sam Darnold, happy birthday. He is 28 years old.
Local celebrity birthdays today. Happy birthday to Ken Hall from the Church Chicks. Happy 12th birthday to Reese Blinko from Grandma and Grandpa. Birthday wishes going out to Emily Schaffner from the Spring family today. Happy birthday wishes tomorrow to Russ Smalley from your life group. Carl Hellenkamp from your friends at Tower Grove Park. Megan Breckling celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Other birthday wishes going out to Kathy Thomas and Stacy Lentz of O'Fallon. And birthday wishes go to Margot Rusnak from yesterday's kids. And last but not least, happy 60th birthday, Tamara Shanter Shoot and Shine from your adoring and omniscient father. Today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
This is the best birthday ever.
Soon we will know who's going to be wearing rings at the end of the NBA season, and you can celebrate with FanDuel as well. Right now, new customers get $350 in bonus bets guaranteed after betting $5 for 7 straight days with FanDuel. FanDuel is the best place to bet all your favorite players or teams during NBA's biggest event. Seek out individual player markets or build an epic same-game parlay, whatever you want to do. And best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. FanDuel.com/Missouri to get $350 in bonus bets guaranteed after you join and bet $5 for 7 days straight. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. Minimum $5 wager required for 7 consecutive days. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600. S&L Coins, 544-3600. Or visit S&L Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call S&L 544-3600.
Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for an unforgettable evening of music with the legendary, incomparable Bernadette Peters, legendary Tony Award-winning star of stage and screen. With her signature charisma and unmatched artistry, this one-night-only performance with your SLSO offers an intimate concert experience with one of musical theater's most luminous voices and a must-see event for Broadway and symphony fans alike. Don't miss an evening with Bernadette Peters, Friday, June 12th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Let's get the latest on the roads now from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still a little bit of a slowdown southbound 61, the ramp to eastbound 70 right now, Megan. Otherwise, the rest of these interstates remain light on the go for you, believe it or not. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is June the 5th. I'm Brian Feldman. These are the stories making news.
I'm Sean Malone. Along with soccer matches, another Olympic event is coming to St. Louis ahead of the LA Games. I'll tell you which one coming up.
Good morning. I'm Megan Lynch.
How did St. Louis land the Olympics marathon trials?
This wouldn't happen without true collaboration.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. A new study raises cancer concerns over drinking even small amounts of alcohol. That story is coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zier. Sun will give way to more clouds and even a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon. We'll have a high near 90.
It's 7 o'clock at the Tone.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. After a full night of debate, the Senate has moved forward President Trump's immigration funding bill. The future of the fund, set up as a part of President Trump's lawsuit against the IRS, voted down. ABC's Rachel Scott's at the Capitol.
This morning, the Senate narrowly voting to approve a $70 billion immigration enforcement package without any measure to block President Trump's $1.8 billion so-called anti-weaponization fund. Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, the lone Republican, voting against the bill, which now heads to the House for approval.
The Senate has blocked a move that would have extended a program that allowed for key surveillance powers because some lawmakers were angry over the appointment of Bill Pulte as acting director of national intelligence. They say he does not have the qualifications and experience for that role. Some schools in session are going remote today, including Philadelphia, because of expected scorching temperatures throughout the Northeast. This is ABC News. Israel's Air Force striking different parts of southern Lebanon and the Israeli army issuing evacuation warnings for 9 villages. The strikes and the warnings a day after Hezbollah fighters rejected a ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon. A Sherpa missing for days on Mount Everest rescued and now is receiving medical care, says ABC's Hannah Bata.
It's being called the miracle on Mount Everest. A 52-year-old Sherpa guide suddenly seen crawling back to base camp 6 days after he went missing. This is him moments after he returned, frostbitten but alive. He was last seen in the so-called death zone, known for its thin oxygen and harsh conditions. He says he slipped and fell into a crevice where he was stuck for 2 days and 2 nights.
52-year-old Dawa Sherpa says he survived by eating ice, and when the snow had fallen, he was able to climb out of that crevice. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 7:02, we have partly cloudy skies, 70 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, June 5th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Brian Feldman. Our top story, another major Olympic event coming to St. Louis.
St. Louis has been awarded the 2028 U.S. Olympic Trials Marathon. Right here.
Former Olympic gold medalist and East St. Louis native Jackie Joyner-Kersee announcing the 26.2-mile race will come to St. Louis in 2028. Washington University Chancellor Dr. Andrew Martin says St. Louis is a place of history for the Olympic marathon.
The first Olympic marathon ever run on American soil started and finished on this campus.
St. Louis will also host 8 Olympic soccer matches during the 2028 Games. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Oh, this is so exciting.
I'm Michael Calhoun with what Mayor Spencer thinks about the city's big Olympics announcement, including how big of an economic impact it could have on the central corridor from Clayton to downtown.
We've had some projections. I don't want to speak to them right now, those numbers right now, but we know it's big. I mean, look, the trials for the figure skating was a huge impact.
And a big impact not just on the city's tax dollars, but culturally too.
Alyssa Liu's iconic hairstyle was honed in, was perfected here in St. Louis, and that does tremendous and uncalculable it has incalculable results for our reputation nationally.
And she says the business community is increasingly turning out to help bring these big events to town.
KMOX continues to keep tabs on the St. Louis area's delayed mail problem. At a congressional hearing yesterday, the Postal Service's cost-cutting overhaul came under scrutiny. We've told you about the problems here. A federal audit found a record backlog at the St. Louis Processing Center and chronic staffing shortages.
Metro East Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski questioned the Postal Regulatory Commission about the changes, which the Postal Service has pitched as a money saver. But Watchdog Vice Chair Robert Taub says he was not convinced.
This plan was predicated on savings that we found were at best illusory, and frankly, we couldn't really verify. And secondly, deep concern that we were seeing what was going to be created was creating a tale of two Americas, shall we say.
Taub's commission says it flagged the plan more than a year ago, but the Postal Service moved ahead anyway. Budzinski co-chairs the bipartisan Postal Service caucus.
Missouri Congressman Wesley Bell says an inspector general audit confirmed delays at every delivery site reviewed in the St. Louis area. He then put this question directly to U.S. Postal Regulatory Commissioner Ashley Poling.
Their mail isn't showing up when they need it, whether it's prescriptions, tax returns, bills, or letters from their loved ones. People in St. Louis don't know where their mail is or when it's coming.
Bell says that's part of why he introduced the St. Louis Up to Par Act, which would require the Postal Service to meet delivery standards and improve service in areas facing frequent delays.
Eureka police shot a person during a domestic call last night. Happened around 8 p.m. in the 1500 block of Cascade Lane in the Windswept Farm subdivision. Fox 2 reports the Eureka Police Department says their officers encountered an armed individual who fired shots at the officers, with them returning fire. A statement from Eureka Police did not say if the shooter was killed. However, no officers were injured during the exchange.
St. Louis police now looking into a reported dog attack on local restaurateur Steve Ewing and his wife and their dog from Tuesday evening near Tower Grove Park. The department says the call never reached them. The family went to the park's private security instead. Word didn't surface until it hit the news. Spokesman Mitch McCoy.
I can tell you that we, after hearing of this, we sent a police officer to that area to speak with the family and have learned that and have helped make sure that a report is filed with animal control. And animal control, as my understanding, is working on completing that paperwork.
Also, police announced a 27-year-old's arrest in a string of smashed storefront windows on South Grand. One business staring at some $8,000 in damage. Plus, an update overnight, car break-ins that wound up with 7 people in custody, including a 19-year-old found with a gun.
Federal prosecutors seeking the death penalty for 2 men charged with kidnapping and killing a Clayton woman. This comes after Anwan Mosby and Emmanuel Suarez charged for the kidnapping and killing of 37-year-old Michelle Hampton, whose body was found in an alley in the 4700 block of Greer Avenue in St. Louis in November of 2024. The Post-Dispatch reports the prosecutors announced the move this week, saying the killing was planned and premeditated. Both suspects scheduled for a status hearing later this month.
One of the developers behind the $500 million Oasis at Lakeport Complex at the Lake of the Ozarks has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Jeff Tegetoff's company filed Monday in federal court reporting just $137 in assets. The Oasis development team tells Lake Expo it's removing Tegetoff from the project and says construction is continuing as planned toward a spring 2027 opening. The filing also references a pending lawsuit accusing Tegetoff of misusing investor money on a St. Peter's apartment project. Allegations he denies.
American Airlines is suspending several routes for the summer. The move comes as jet fuel prices continue to increase due to the war in Iran. The affected flights will be suspended from August through September and are mainly out of Los Angeles and Charlotte. The airline says impacted travelers will be offered a refund or alternative travel arrangements.
We will check your weather forecast and the roadways with Roger Brand next. It's 7:08.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10, time to head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How's it look out there, Roger?
Well, it still looks great, Megan. I mean, normally this is the time of day when we'd sort of get into a lull. You know, we build some volume early on, then we get sort of a quiet time a little bit after 7, and then by 7:40, with our peak rush hour commute and volume and delays. Right now, wide open. I mean, it's been this way all morning. A lighter Friday morning. It's a summer Friday morning, so, enjoy it, I guess. 55 looks great coming up into the work zone at the Merrimack River, 270 both directions between 64 and Ladue are on the go. Out west, 70 coming in from Warrenton, no delays, 61 and 64 from the Wentzville split. They all look good headed for the Missouri River bridges. And on the Illinois side, again, still looks great. Westbound 55-70 and the eastbound, for that matter, they're working both directions between 255 and 203. No issues there. And 64 through Fairview Heights, they're working both directions, and everything's fine for you there as well. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. Sun giving way to more clouds today with a thunderstorm around this afternoon. High near 90. Mostly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 72 tonight. Some places will have a thunderstorm late tonight into tomorrow. Partly sunny, hot and humid otherwise tomorrow with a high of 90. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm mainly later. High 85 Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Partly cloudy skies and 71 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's the Cardinals and the Reds tonight. That's a 3-game series starting at Busch. All those details coming up in sports.
More news now at 7:12. A man who attacked 7 people in Tower Grove Park, sentenced to 25 years in prison. 61-year-old Austin Fitzgerald pleaded guilty yesterday to 13 felonies in connection with attacks in the park from last August. Fitzgerald's crimes include threatening people with a pistol, sexually abusing a woman, and hitting victims with brass knuckles.
In St. Louis, Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore's 3 years since taking over a chaotic office, he has increased the number of cases issued and filled out most of the vacant attorney positions. Now comes a new challenge, keeping them.
Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore says they have a strong but young team of trial attorneys, with 25 of the 49 on staff with 3 years experience or less. Gore says finding ways to offer better compensation is needed to not lose so many of them to the private sector.
Our staff and attorneys don't get any compensation for parking, and that's something that we hope that we can get some kind of modest subsidy for parking.
Gore adds, including their 4 child support attorneys and 3 incoming graduates they have hired, they have 55 of their 57 attorney positions filled and plan to ask for more attorneys next year to keep caseloads per attorney down. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
If you're heading downtown this weekend, you will not be alone. St. Louis will have thousands of visitors as a wave of events hits all at once. Cardinals baseball, the National Pickleball Championship, and a big international soccer friendly happening right across from police headquarters. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says now is the time to make a plan.
If you're going to be drinking, ride share, start making those preparations now. And then, of course, if you see something suspicious, please say something. Call 911 immediately or tell a police officer.
McCoy says expect uniformed officers, undercover detectives, and the Real-Time Crime Center to keep watch over downtown.
Later tonight, KMOX alum Dan Deerdorf will be added to the Missouri Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame. He was offensive tackle for the St. Louis Football Cardinals from 1971 to 1983. He was a 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, and enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1996. He also served as a color analyst on ABC's Monday Night Football for 12 seasons and got his start right here on KMOX.
At my age and as little experience as I had, I worked at CBS TV for 2 years, but it was all those countless hours behind a microphone at KMOX that I was older experience-wise than I was chronologically. And that's all because of the gift I got of being able to sit behind that microphone at KMOX.
Coming up on Total Information AM, we are going to tell you about that big strawberry festival in Kimmswick that happens every year. Jade Aubrey will have more on that. Plus, find out about Hero Quest. What is it? You'll have to stay with us. It's now 7:15.
Well, the Cardinals in a long homestand now. They are 3-3 on this homestand. They took 2 of 3 from the Cubs last weekend, and then they were able to avoid the sweep at the hands of the Rangers. They lost the first 2, but they get a 5-3 win Wednesday at Busch Stadium, thanks in part to a pair of hits from Thomas Saggese. That included this big RBI in the 5th.
There's a swing and a drive to right field. That's hit well, and it's going to go over the head of Nimmo and off the wall at the 375 side. Saggese's going to get a triple out of it and a run batted in. The Cardinals have a lead of 4-1. And I love 2-out RBIs.
Well, that, of course, is the voice of the Cardinals, and that is our Cut of the Game. Cut of the Game is sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Tonight, the Cardinals continue that homestand. They will welcome the Cincinnati Reds for the start of a 3-game series at Busch Stadium. They open the weekend 32-28. They're now third in the National League Central Division. They're 5 games back of the Brewers. They're a half a game back of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cincinnati, 31-30. They're 5th in the division, but they sit just 1.5 games back of the Cardinals. Kyle Leahy starts tonight for the Cards. He is 5-3 with a 4.25 earned run average. He was 2-0 with a 2.81 ERA and 5 starts in the month of May. He faced the Reds 2 weeks ago in Cincinnati. He allowed 5 runs in 5 innings. That was a game won by the Reds in 11 innings. The Reds counter with right-hander Brady Singer. Singer's just 2-5 with a 6.18 earned run average. He was 0-4 with a 7.77 ERA in 5 May starts. He has made 5 career starts against the Cardinals. He's 2-3 with a 3.04 earned run average. First pitch tonight is 7:15 at Busch Stadium. Our pregame coverage gets underway at 6:20. Well, the Battlehawks have a couple of fan-friendly events that's coming up this weekend ahead of the home playoff game. Fans are going to have the opportunity to visit the playoff prize machine. Now, that will give them a chance to win Battlehawks prizes, playoff tickets, premium experiences, and each day a grand prize will be awarded. That is a trip for 2 to the United Bowl. That's the UFL Championship. That is in Washington, D.C. on June 13th. And that grand prize includes airfare and hotel accommodations. Friday, it'll be 3 to 8 p.m. at Union Station. Saturday, it's 4 to 8 p.m. at City Foundry. And on that Saturday event, Ricky Prohl and select Battlehawks players are scheduled to appear at 5 o'clock at City Foundry. The Battlehawks will host a semifinal playoff game. That's coming up on Sunday against the Louisville Kings. Kickoff is 5 p.m. at the Dome at America's Center. Our next sports update comes up at 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma.
And I'm Tom Gamma.
When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust. Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the 3rd generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
For men over 50, staying healthy shouldn't feel complicated.
Neovitin Men's 50 Plus is a doctor-formulated daily multivitamin designed to support everyday wellness with just 2 tablets a day. You can subscribe at neovitin.com for convenient monthly delivery right to your door, or find Neovitin Men's 50 Plus at your local Deerbirds or Schnucks. All Neovitin vitamins are manufactured in a GMP-certified facility in the USA and are designed for real, everyday routines. Make nutrition easy with Neovitin Men's 50 Plus.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At 7:20, let's find out what's going on with traffic. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still look great out there, Brian. I mean, on the highways, I really haven't had much to be talking about. Unfortunately, or thankfully, for you, if you need to go, if you're running a little late, you'll make up good time on the highways. I can tell you, 55 from Festus into downtown's clear. North 270 from 55 headed up through 64 in Ladue, and the work zone looks good. Out west, southbound 61, eastbound 64, and eastbound 70, no delays. Coming in from Wentzville on the Illinois side, we're still okay. The work zone, 5570 between 255 and 203, 64 through 159 in Fairview Heights. Don't forget, they switched it up now. For the last 2 weeks, we had the westbound 64 exit closed and the ramps from 159 north and southbound onto westbound 64 shut down. Well, last night at 1 a.m., they begin to make the switch. So now it's eastbound. The eastbound 64 exit to 159 closed, and the ramps on 159 to eastbound 64 closed, and that'll again be for the next 2 weeks. Do see some slow traffic eastbound 30 approaching Mauer Industrial. It's heavy up the hill to 270. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And the weather is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. It looks like we're going to have a warm day today. We'll start with sunshine, but see more clouds as the day goes on. Expect a thunderstorm around this afternoon with a high near 90. Mostly cloudy, warm, and humid tonight with an overnight low of 72. Some places will have a thunderstorm late tonight into tomorrow. Otherwise, partly sunny tomorrow, hot and humid with a high near 90. Right now, we have partly sunny skies, 70 degrees downtown at the Arch. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for their 26-point tune-up. It's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
The news continues at 7:22 as the weather warms up. 950 AC units will be distributed to those in need by Cool Down St. Louis. The units donated by Ameren, Missouri, and their Vice President, Tara Oglesby, acknowledges the community need is changing.
The need just continues to be there. The need continues to grow. We want to make sure that we're helping all of our neighbors that we can, seniors, disabled, those in financial crisis, just to help them stay cool and stay safe in the summer.
She says they have donated more than 20,000 AC units during their 21 years of partnering with Cool Down St. Louis.
More people are craving a walkable lifestyle. Dan Pister with the Downtown Neighborhood Association.
We did a survey earlier this year about why people move downtown, and the two biggest responses were walkability and unique living spaces.
If you want to check some living spaces out, Saturday is the second annual Downtown Living Home Tour with more than a dozen places to check out. It's a self-guided walking tour that ends with a party at the Thaxton Speakeasy. Tickets are $20, available online at Post Office Plaza at 9th and Locust.
For the town of Kinswick, this weekend's Strawberry Festival is more than just fun. Mayor Kenneth Kraft III says the amount of visitors it brings in financially supports the small town.
133 people is our residents, getting ready to open the gates to about 100,000.
Although the Fall Apple Butter Festival is the town's main moneymaker, Mayor Kraft says this weekend is important to both residents and farmers.
This really is for our community. It's something, like our entire neighborhood. We can have 100,000 people down here in town, and we all still know each other throughout the crowd. But it's something that we all do enjoy.
The Strawberry Festival will run Friday and Saturday in downtown Kimmswick.
Starting tomorrow, a new way to keep the kids engaged and learning. Kristen Sorth with St. Louis County Library says Hero Quest kicks off tomorrow.
Yes, we're so excited. We are partnering with the Magic House, and we have 9 Hero Quest displays at our branches, at 9 separate branches, and they will be on display for all through the summer, actually. So we want families to come out and check them out. They're giant books featuring heroes from the history of the United States, and there's all kinds of fun activities to do when you're visiting the Hero Quest exhibit.
Who are some of our heroes?
At St. Louis County Library, we have Harriet Tubman, Amelia Earhart, Sacagawea, Albert Einstein, Ben Franklin, George Washington Carver, Helen Keller. Did I say George Washington? I think I got everybody.
Both George Washingtons, the first and the Carver, and Abraham Lincoln.
Yes. Yeah, we're really excited.
How many times has Hero Quest been around?
We've had these books for a really long time in our collection because they're based on Brad Meltzer's series, his Ordinary People Change the World series. We've never had the exhibits before at the library. They've been at the Magic House a lot, but we haven't had them in a branch. So we picked 9 branches all over the system so people can come and visit them.
So for parents who are thinking, an interesting way to teach children something about history while having fun, what can they expect? Like, what should they do when they walk into the library and see this? Are there activities around it, or what happens?
There are. They can pick up a Hero Quest passport, and they can keep track of all their visits at the library and St. Louis Public Library branches and the Magic House. And if they find at least 6 of the 15 heroes, they get a free book. And so that's really fun. And they get a sticker so they can keep track. Everybody's really into stickers right now. And then we're going to welcome Brad Meltzer, who is a super popular adult fiction author and a kids author, to the Clark Family Branch on October 8th to wrap up the adventure. So he'll be here for a great author event. But when you go in the display, you can't miss the display. It's a giant book. And then it has hands-on activities, and it gives kids the opportunity to explore the traits that made the real-life heroes so extraordinary. And the thought is that ordinary people can end up being extraordinary leaders. And we picked people to celebrate America's 250. So that's why we have the collection of heroes that we do. But I'll give you an example, like at the Abraham Lincoln Hero Quest, which is at Oak Bend, there's a craft. So you can make Abraham Lincoln hats. So it's all kinds of really fun activities around the Hero Quest exhibit.
All right, so it all kicks off in the St. Louis County Library system on Saturday, and you've got all summer to complete your quest. It is St. Louis Summer Hero Quest at St. Louis County Library, slcl.org for all the information. Kristen Sorth is joining us. Thanks for all the info.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And that is KMOX's Debbie Monterey with Kristen Sorth of the St. Louis County Library.
It's 7:27. That time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. Traffic and weather is next on Total Information AM.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The NBA playoffs are ongoing, and they've been a lot of fun so far, and FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. With more ways to build and more value every time you play, you can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, every moment, from spreads to player points to threes and more. Build it all into same-game parlays and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, you're going to want to do it on FanDuel, an app that is super easy to use. It is secure. It's intuitive. I've been using it for a long time and really enjoy it. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The cookie cutter approach works well if you're making cookies, but not so well when you're trying to plan for retirement. If you want a customized income strategy, call Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group today. 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
While the world watches the stars at the FIFA World Cup this summer, Hyundai has its eyes on the next generation of talent. The future stars who are already turning heads at age 14. Because next doesn't wait for an invitation. And neither do we. Hyundai has always moved the future within reach. We did it when we made advanced safety standard on every vehicle and engineered EVs with ultra-fast charging capability. Because the future isn't some far-off concept. It's already here. Next starts now. Hyundai, an official partner of FIFA.
At 7:30, we have partly cloudy skies and 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, June 5th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, it looks like we have a little trouble downtown right now. If you're coming westbound into downtown on the Poplar Street Bridge, looks like we have a crash or a stall. I can't see it right now from my vantage point, but at the Missouri end of the bridge. So it's jamming traffic back into Illinois westbound. So just be advised if you're headed that way, you might want to take the Musial Veterans Bridge. That one is looking good right now, but it's jammed at Route 3 on westbound 64. That's the only Illinois interstate jam we have right now. In fact, that's the only interstate jam we have, period, on either side of the river. There's a little slowdown on the ramp from southbound 61 getting on eastbound 70, but nothing nearly as heavy as what we experienced yesterday. And in all the work zones, traffic continues to cruise along for you. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The heat and humidity is here in St. Louis. Meteorologist Heather Zaire tells us it's going to be warm with some sunshine giving way to some clouds. High near 90 degrees today. Mostly cloudy tonight, warm and humid. Low of 72. Right now, we have partly cloudy skies and 72 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:32. St. Louis will be host city for the U.S. Olympic Trial Marathon ahead of the 2028 Games. St. Louis Sports Commission President Mark Schreiber recounts the moment they knew they were being awarded the event when he saw a former gold medalist from East St. Louis on the Zoom call with USA Track and Field.
Up pops Jackie. And at that moment, huge relief. Because I'm thinking, there's no way they have Jackie Joyner-Kersee on this call, and they're going to tell us we're not getting the event.
Schreiber says winning the bid over other cities like Phoenix was an exciting moment. He looks back to the busy time they had around the application deadline.
The bid for the trials was due on December 1st. 1 week earlier, our staff executed a flawless Musial Awards. A month later, they organized the U.S. Figure Skating Championships, and we all know how that went.
The Olympics will also keep St. Louis busy as they're set to host the Olympic soccer matches.
I'm Michael Calhoun. The marathon trials live on TV could wind up being a postcard for the city, says Mayor Spencer.
The stage is the city. The city is the stage of the event. And so unlike other Olympic sports or sports in general, where they're hosted inside of a stadium, marathons are hosted on the streets of the city they're in. And so this is really an opportunity to really showcase our city.
How does St. Louis get the streets ready for the national stage and the Olympic runners' feet? She says they'll keep working on the roads, filling potholes, and also keep the trash cleared.
Cashless parking in downtown St. Louis continues. The city treasurer announced the move on Facebook, saying the cashless payment trial will extend through this Sunday at these locations: the Justice Center Garage, Couple Station Garage, Keel Garage, Williams Lot, and City Hall Lot. This comes after downtown parking garages and lots went cashless last Thursday ahead of the weekend Cardinals game. The statement says there's no credit card processing fees on credit or debit purchases.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your money report from Bloomberg is next.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at the Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it to us and get a quote in minutes. And if you don't see what you need on the shelf, we'll help you get it. You can access thousands of products beyond what's available in-store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk. Build quotes faster and source the materials you need to keep your jobs moving. Just like that, at Lowe's.
At 7:35, time now for your money report. It's sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The latest home design trend? Sleep divorces. More people are learning how to happily spend the rest of their lives with one person by sleeping in separate bedrooms. Couples who can't afford it are starting to ask builders and designers for 2 separate primary bedrooms in their homes. The rise is coming from snoring, different schedules, competing climate preferences, and those wearable trackers that generate data on how well we sleep. Roughly 31% of adults have opted for a sleep divorce, according to the American Academy for Sleep Medicine. Later this morning, the May jobs report is expected to cross, and that could shake up Wall Street. Economists expect to see an increase of 88,000 jobs. Right now, S&P futures are falling as we wait for that key data. And drug maker Merck will settle a number of lawsuits blaming its Gardasil cancer vaccine for causing autoimmune ailments. Sources say Merck will pay more than $50 million to settle more than 200 cases. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the colleges paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
City SC's Summer of Soccer, presented by Purina, kicks off on Friday, June 12th with the biggest soccer celebration in St. Louis. This festival-style watch party on Lou Fuse Plaza at Energizer Park is free for all and open to the public. Show up at 5 p.m. for live music, local food and drink, giveaways, special appearances, and a live viewing of USA versus Paraguay on 5 massive screens. Learn more at summerofsoccerstl.com.
Artistic Decks. For 26 years, we've been making dreams affordable in the St. Louis area. With an A+ BBB rating, we're the team you can trust. Let us build your dream deck. Artistic Decks. For a free consultation, call us at 314-280-0821.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's 7:40. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger, still pretty quiet out there?
Yeah, it's a little busy. Well, we got that one problem spot downtown, Megan, but otherwise we're at the peak rush hour volume, so we do have a little bit of traffic, but again, it's really not bad, with the exception of, like I said, of downtown, because we have a crash westbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge right at the Missouri end of the bridge. I think the left lanes are blocked. It's really hard for me to see, but it's a solid jam back through 3rd Street already on westbound 64 heading to the Poplar Street Bridge. Now, other Illinois issues, there's a little bit of a delay on westbound 64 as you get just west of 50 as you enter that construction zone there. But the 5570 still looks great between 255 and 203. Not seeing any delays at that point. On the Missouri side, the only place interstate-wise that we have slow traffic is northbound 270, Doherty Ferry up to Manchester and Clayton Road up through 64, entering the work zone at Ladue. Southbound 61, the ramp to eastbound 70, still just a little slow at the very end of the ramp, not bad. But again, 64 and 70 come out of Wentzville look great. 64 both directions around the inner belt's fine. So the rest of these interstates are light and on the go, but we do have that trouble downtown. Again, a crash with lane blockage at the Missouri end of the Poplar, and it's jammed west of the 70 split to that point. Next update is 7:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Gravois Bluffs. Come visit us now. Ready to refresh your space with furniture that's built to last? The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself and shop the latest in living rooms, bedrooms, and more. Visit Haverty's now in Gravois Bluffs.
At 7:41, let's check in with Heather Zaire for our weather forecast. And I'm starting to see that word humid, which is among my least favorites in the vocabulary that we have.
You and me both. Not a big fan, but yeah, here we are. It's June in St. Louis, and we're going to have more of that to be dealing with over the coming days. It's not too bad yet for today. Sunshine that we have had this morning has been mixing with clouds, and we're going to see even more of those clouds, I think fairly cloudy by the end of the day. There'll also be a thunderstorm in some places this afternoon with a high right around 90. Tonight then, warm and humid. Lots of clouds around with a low of 72. Most of the night is dry, but starting late tonight and then continuing through the day tomorrow, there will be some places that have a thunderstorm. Otherwise, it's a hot and humid day tomorrow, partly sunny with a high right around 90. We're kind of backing off a little, at least in the warmth department on Sunday, but still humid. Clouds break for sun, and we'll have a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially later in the day. The high will be 85. Still humid with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 84 on Monday. And then it's hotter and still humid, high 92 with a spotty thunderstorm on Tuesday. 71 right now in St. Peter's, 72 in Florissant, 71 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Reinforcements are coming for the Cards. We'll tell you what familiar face will return to the lineup tonight. That's coming up in sports.
More news now at 7:43. A major change for electric bikes, scooters, and powered skateboards. One signature away in Illinois, lawmakers from both parties passed a bill setting the first statewide safety rules for the vehicles. It's now waiting for Governor Pritzker's signature.
Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias, who championed the bill, put it this way.
Our goal is simple: prevent injuries, save lives, and ensure that Illinois is prepared for the transportation technologies of today and tomorrow.
The bill keeps the e-bikes most people ride legal, but cracks down on the high-powered models, some of which can hit highway speeds. Riders of those would need a license and insurance. Scooters and skateboards get a 28-mile-an-hour cap, and no device would be allowed on sidewalks.
A new report on gun violence finds that Black Illinois residents are 26 times more likely to be shot to death than white residents. WBBM's Mike Krauser reports.
The annual report from the Violence Policy Center and One AIM Illinois was compiled using 2024 data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Josh Sugarman is the executive director of the Violence Policy Center.
Black Illinois residents are disproportionately impacted by gun violence.
Are those numbers pretty much steady throughout the years?
We saw an increase across the state in lethal gun violence up until about 2 years ago, where we've seen a slight drop across the board. But looking at the disproportionate impact on Black Illinois residents, that has been a constant.
The research found that while Black residents make up about 14% of the population, they account for nearly 69% of firearm homicide victims. Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Well, the Cardinals are 3-3 on this current homestand, and when they have struggled recently, it has primarily been from an offensive standpoint. Even Jordan Walker was in a bit of a slump. He broke out on Wednesday in the 5-3 win over the Rangers.
The 2-1 delivery is hit sharply into center field. That's a hit for Walker. Herrera's going to round second. He's headed for third. He's going to make it. The throw comes to the middle infield.
That's one of 3 hits for Walker Wednesday. He also scored 3 runs. J.J. Weatherhold also getting back to his early season form. He now has multi-hits in 5 of his last 6 games. He had 7 hits in last weekend's series with the Cubs, and he's hitting .321 over the last week with a .738 OPS. The Cardinals offense could take advantage of tonight's Reds starter, Brady Singer. Singer's just 2-5 with a 6.18 earned run average and had a near 8 earned run average in 5 starts in the month of May. Another boost would come in the form of outfielder Lars Nootbaar.
Likely his last as he crushes one deep to right center field toward the bullpen and gone. Well, the health sure looks good. He scored from first on a triple yesterday. And homers, couple pitches in to this Wednesday afternoon ball game.
Yeah, it's courtesy of the Memphis Redbirds. That was Wednesday in Memphis. One of 2 home runs Nootbaar hit in 6 games with the AAA club. The Cardinals plan to activate Nootbaar today, and there will have to be a corresponding move. No official word yet has come from the Cards. Cardinals and Reds tonight, 7:15 is the first pitch, 6:20 with the pregame coverage. Yankees got bad news last night as Aaron Judge has been diagnosed with a stress fracture in his rib on his right side. He is expected to return this season, according to an announcement from the Yankees on Thursday. He has missed 3 straight games. He's undergone various tests trying to pinpoint the reason for discomfort, something that has hampered him for an extended period of time. The Yankees said he will be re-imaged in approximately 4 to 6 weeks, so that's a long time without Aaron Judge. Stanley Cup Finals, they're now tied at a game apiece thanks to some late heroics.
Here's Svechnikov. And Aho. These gentlemen would quiet all the critics wondering where they've been if they score the game winner in overtime. Goss to spare. They score! Seth Jarvis quiets the critics and ignites the crowd.
Seth Jarvis there, as you heard, with the game winner. That is Sean McDonough on ESPN last night. This was a 2-2 game in the third period, late in the third. Jordan Stahl gave Carolina a lead with inside of 5 minutes to play, only to have Mark Stone tie it up for Vegas with less than 2 minutes to go. That forces overtime and, of course, sets up that game winner. Game 3 of the finals is tomorrow night, that one in Las Vegas. NBA Finals, San Antonio Spurs, New York Knicks. It's at San Antonio tonight, and the Knicks lead that series 1-0. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Feel the rhythm and turn it up, St. Louis. Legendary rock icons, Santana and the Doobie Brothers are bringing the heat to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 20th for the Oneness Tour 2026. From Black Magic Woman to Listen to the Music, this is the concert event fans don't want to miss. It'll be a summer night soon not forgotten. Santana, the Doobie Brothers. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, go to KMOX.com/events. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's find out if there's any issues on the roadways with Roger Brain and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's only one, and it's downtown, Brian. It's westbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge at the Missouri end of the bridge. We've got a crash with lane blockage. I think the left lanes are the ones that are blocked. I just don't have a good view of it right now. The cameras aren't pointing the right direction, or they're not working on the Illinois end. Anyway, westbound 64 is a solid jam back to the 70 split, so it's bumper to bumper the whole way through there. 70 looks great, though, as an option. Jump on there and take it across to the Musial Veterans Bridge. You won't have any delays at all. There are no roadwork delays on the Illinois side on the interstate, so that's the only thing we have is that jam. Again, 64 from the 70 split to the Poplar just crawling because of a crash at the Missouri end of the bridge. Other than that, the only other delays are just some slow traffic on northbound 270 approaching Manchester up to Ladue, south 270 midway down from Olive to Ladue. Just a little busy there, and that ramp's still a little slow at the end. Coming off southbound 61, getting on to eastbound 70, but again, much better than it was yesterday. The rest of these area highways continue to roll along. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a really warm day today. We've got sunshine now, but we'll see more clouds as the day goes on. Thunderstorms possible this afternoon as well. Expect a high near 90. Cloudy, warm, and humid tonight, an overnight low of 72. Some places will have a thunderstorm late tonight, heading into tomorrow as well. Otherwise, partly sunny, hot, and humid tomorrow, a high near 90. Right now, we have partly sunny skies, 70 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52.
More downstream benefits. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. New research suggests those new weight loss GLP-1 medications may be linked to a lower risk of breast cancer. ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula.
So this was a review of records from the UPenn Health System of women who were ages 45 to 80 over the last several years who were overweight or obese to see who went on to develop breast cancer. And they looked at who took GLPs and who didn't. And they found that those women on GLPs had a reduced risk of developing breast cancer by about 30%. So you might wonder, how could there be a link there? And there's a couple of reasons. First of all, we know that overweight or obesity is associated with breast cancer risk, particularly in postmenopausal women. So before menopause, the ovaries produce most of your estrogen. Fat cells produce a little bit, but after menopause, your fat cells produce the estrogen for the majority of women who are, again, postmenopausal, and that circulating higher level of estrogen could fuel breast cancer. That's number one. Number two, overweight or obesity is a pro-inflammatory state. We know that inflammation is associated with risk of cancers, and obesity is associated with elevated insulin. Insulin has also been shown to drive certain cancers, particularly breast cancer.
With 60 seconds to better health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
The city of St. Louis hiring for more than 100 seasonal jobs. The Department of Personnel hosting a hiring fair today from 9 to noon at the Slate, Missouri Job Center.
These roles are going to be the positions that keep the city going in the summertime. So we're looking at a lot of landscape type backgrounds.
That's the department's senior human resources specialist, Tanya McNary-Farr, who says there's a job for everyone.
If they are drivers, they can apply for any of the departments, but non-drivers will apply to the forestry department.
Most of the jobs require applicants to be 18 years or older. The lifeguard positions start as young as 15.
Home construction's off to a slow start in our region this year. St. Louis Federal Reserve economist and assistant vice president Charles Gaskin tells KMOX higher mortgage rates likely one factor.
What we saw last year was kind of something very similar, which was a kind of a slow start to the home buying season, but it did start to pick up as you got later into the summer, and the fall turned out a little bit better than anticipated. So I think it's still early to, really make a determination on how this home buying season and building season is going to play out.
The latest snapshot from the Federal Reserve shows high energy prices are pushing up other costs, including shipping, food, and services.
American Airlines is suspending several routes for the summer. The move comes as jet fuel prices continue to increase due to the war in Iran. The affected flights will be suspended from August to September and are mainly out of Los Angeles and Charlotte. The airline says impacted travelers will be offered a refund or alternative travel arrangements.
Lace up your walking shoes because today is National Trails Day. Lafe Schweishguth with the Missouri Department of Conservation says the St. Louis region features all types of trails.
One of my favorite is the Labarque Creek Trail. It is between Pacific and Eureka. It's very well shaded. It's got a lot of cool little waterfalls that are very close to the trail. It's a really great place to take families.
He says Modoc's trails are great for hikers or horseback riders since they're often made of natural surfaces like grass or gravel. On the other hand, the Great Rivers Greenway Metro trails are popular for runners and bikers since they're usually paved.
What's white and black and striped all over? The new baby zebra at the St. Louis Zoo. Prince, the zebra foal, was born last Tuesday. You can see him run laps around his parents, Amira and Presley, in the Red Rocks habitat starting today.
It's 7:55.
Back is it. He leaps and makes a fantastic catch.
Calling all bobblehead enthusiasts. Saturday, June 6th, as the Cardinals take on the Cincinnati Reds, fans can score a Jim Edmonds bobblehead presented by Ford. This collectible captures his unforgettable home run robbing grab at the wall, a play that still gives Cardinals fans chills. Add a defensive icon to your shelf and relive a moment that defined an era. Don't miss this one. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Future Gold Glovers, this one's for you. Sunday, June 7th, the Cardinals welcome the Cincinnati Reds to Busch Stadium. And that day, kids receive a City Connect Rawlings glove presented by Rawlings. Built for playing catch all summer long, it's ready for backyard games, trips to the park, and every I got it moment. A day at the ballpark that keeps the season going. Get tickets now at cardinals.com/promotion.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched the playoffs and earned dome field advantage. Playoff football is coming back to St. Louis, Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at UFLBattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The last time we were talking with Roger Brand, he was telling us about a problem on 64. Let's get more on that now. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's still out there, Megan. Unfortunately, it's westbound 64 or 55-64. It's the two interstates that come across the river there, and it's a crash at the Missouri end of the Poplar Street Bridge. It's blocking the two left lanes. Like I said, I thought it was the left lanes, and it's a solid jam all the way back to Interstate 70 on westbound 64. And by the way, if you're bailing out in the middle of that jam and going for the King Bridge, it's jammed just west of the interstate all the way downtown. The Eads Bridge is getting heavy at the Missouri end of it. So the best bet, the one that has no delays, is westbound 70 across the Mutual Veterans Bridge. There are no delays there. It's also impacting Route 3, your jam from 8th Street, getting up to the bridge, trying to get in the midst of all that jam. There's also a little backup eastbound 64 passing Vandeventer right now. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Stick around for the next hour of Total Information AM. There's a big gift from a leader in St. Louis soccer that's investing in community health. Find out more after ABC and KMOX News. Total Information AM is going to hit the high points in news this week with In Case You Missed It. That's coming up at 8:24. And domestic airfares are up about 20% above what they were in early March. Some may go even higher. We're going to have our weekly update with KMOX travel advisor Peter Greenberg coming up at 8:30.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire. Warm today, a spotty afternoon thunderstorm as sun gives way to clouds, high 90.
Another check of the roads in 10 minutes with Roger Brand here on KMOX.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. After 18 hours of debate, the Senate has passed a bill to fund immigration enforcement. $70 billion will go toward ICE and Border Patrol. Not included in the bill, a provision blocking that $1.8 billion so-called anti-weaponization fund set up as a part of President Trump's lawsuit against the IRS. This hour, we're getting a snapshot of the jobs picture for the month of May. The Labor Department releasing new unemployment numbers, as well as the number of people applying for unemployment benefits. Some concerns about security as World Cup matches get underway next week. John Cohen is a former official with the Department of Homeland Security.
The resources that have been available at the federal levels to prepare for this game have either been done away with or reassigned to focus on other areas or were impacted by the shutdown.
President Trump says he will attend an NBA Finals game at Madison Square Garden next week at the invitation of the team's owner. He's a longtime New York Knicks fan. This is ABC News. Complaints in California over how long it's taking to count the ballots in Tuesday's primaries, even though California says it always takes this long. Here's ABC's Alex Stone in L.A.
In response to criticism from President Trump and Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton over those slow election results here, California's Secretary of State says in a statement, accuracy before speed. Los Angeles County Registrar Dean Logan says all of the ballots will not be counted for a while.
The bulk of our ballots, typically in LA County, are in by 10 days after the election in the count. I don't expect that to be different in this election.
Part of the reason is because so many Californians vote by mail, and those ballots can take a week to arrive to be counted. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
World Cup matches begin in less than a week, and in addition to fears over ticket prices and traffic and parking and everything else, some doctors are now warning people about the dangers of drinking in extreme heat. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, June 5th. I'm Megan Lynch. St. Louis will now be hosting multiple Olympic events in 2028.
St. Louis will be hosting the U.S. Olympic trials for the marathon in March of 2028 ahead of the Summer Games. This marks the second of possibly 3 Olympic events the city will host in 2028, according to St. Louis Sports Commission President Mark Schreiber.
We will have the U.S. Olympic marathon trials, likely the Olympic torch relay, not a done deal yet, but the odds are good. and the previously announced Olympic soccer matches.
According to Washington University Chancellor Andrew Martin, the first ever Olympic marathon race in the United States began and ended on their campus in St. Louis. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
This wouldn't happen without true collaboration.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the big picture that Mayor Spencer sees from this latest Olympics announcement.
For me, this is so exciting for 2028, but really just showcases our region's ability to work together on big things.
The marathon trials will be televised live on NBC. And if you've seen, say, one of the NASCAR races through a city like Chicago, you know how picturesque a cityscape can be for sports.
Marathons are hosted on the streets of the city they're in. And so this is really an opportunity to really showcase our city.
She says departments will step up on the basics like filling potholes and clearing trash to be ready for the visitors and the viewers from around the world.
St. Louis Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore has reduced the homicide backlog of cases to 186 during his 3 years in office, while hiring attorneys to fill many vacant positions. Asked what challenges he still faces, he says keeping those attorneys. While he acknowledges a higher salary helps, he says even more attorneys will reduce their caseload and make the job less stressful.
I hope that by this time next year, we will be at that 57 budgeted number, and we would be asking for additional attorneys to help to continue to get caseloads down to a manageable level.
Gore says they're also doing little things like establishing a well-being committee to help keep office morale up and burnout down. Federal prosecutors seeking the death penalty for two men charged with kidnapping and the death of a Clayton woman. It comes after Anwan Mosby and Emmanuel Suarez were charged in the kidnapping and killing of 37-year-old Michelle Hampton. Her body was found in an alley in the 4700 block of Guerrero Avenue in St. Louis in November of 2024. The Post-Dispatch reports prosecutors announced the move this week. They allege the killing was planned and premeditated. Both suspects scheduled for a status hearing later this month. St. Louis police have arrested a 27-year-old man they believe smashed out storefront windows up and down South Grand. Investigators say Steve's Hot Dogs was hit twice, the gin room targeted as well. Nothing was stolen, but the broken glass left thousands of dollars in damage, as much as $8,000 out of pocket for one of those shops. A neighbor's 911 call led District 2 officers to the suspect nearby. Department spokesman Mitch McCoy.
It's just frustrating, especially when you're talking about some of our small businesses that have put roots in our community and are the fabric of St. Louis.
Detectives still have to connect the man to each break-in before charges can be filed. Police also giving an update on overnight car break-ins, ending in 7 arrests and a reported dog attack on restaurateur Steve Ewing and his wife, which the department says he'd only learned about through the news. This weekend, victims and survivors of gun violence will be honored as part of the 12th annual Wear Orange Weekend for Gun Violence Awareness. It starts Saturday morning with a Guns to Gardens recycling event at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Ferguson. Guns turned in will be transformed into garden tools and sculptures. Participants will get a $100 Aldi gift card for turning in a firearm. Cashless parking in downtown St. Louis continues. The city treasurer announced the move on Facebook, saying the cashless payment trial will extend through this Sunday at the following locations: Justice Center Garage, Couple Station Garage, Keel Garage, Williams Lot, and the City Hall Lot. It comes after downtown parking garages and lots went cashless last Thursday ahead of the weekend Cardinals game. The statement says there are no credit card processing fees on credit or debit purchases. Concerns about delays in mail delivery now being taken up on Capitol Hill. Democratic Congressman Wesley Bell of St. Louis says it's been a problem in his district since he took office.
What role does the Postal Regulatory Commission play in making sure these findings lead to real changes on the ground?
Currently, we don't have a specific role when it comes to that, those exact changes on the ground. I think it would be very helpful, again, my own personal opinion, for the commission to have more oversight when it comes to that process.
Bell says that's part of why he introduced the St. Louis Up to Par Act, which would require the Postal Service to meet delivery standards and improve service in areas facing frequent delays. It comes as the U.S. Postmaster General warned Congress recently that the agency could run out of cash within a year unless changes are made. American Airlines suspending several routes for the summer. The move comes as jet fuel prices continue to increase due to the war in Iran. The affected flights will be suspended from August to September. They're mainly out of Los Angeles and Charlotte. The airline says impacted travelers will be offered a refund or alternative travel arrangements. That could become more common as we head through the summer. Make sure you stay with us. At 8:31, our travel advisor, Peter Greenberg, are going to tell us about higher chances of getting bumped from your flights this summer. It's now 8:08, traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket, and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10. Let's get the latest on the roads for Illinois drivers that were facing some jams a while ago. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, unfortunately, Megan, it still doesn't look like there's any change downtown with this crash westbound of the Missouri into the Poplar Street Bridge. 55, 64 drivers are jammed back through the 70 split. 64 is backed up at Ball Avenue. Again, the two left lanes are blocked at the Missouri end of the bridge. There's no change. Route 3 is backed up at 8th Street coming up to the bridge, and the King Bridge is a solid jam leaving the interstate, so that's not a good option. The Eads Bridge is better, but it's still heavy backed up at the Missouri end of the bridge, so Laclete's Landing area. So there's a short backup on the Eads Bridge, but the one that's wide open is the Mutual Veterans Bridge, westbound 70. No delays at all, not even a slowdown coming into downtown, so that is the way to go to get around this jam. That is the only interstate jam. We have that little backup or delay. We had 64 past Vandeventer is gone, North 270, Manchester up through the work zone at Ladue. Everything looks good for you there as well right now. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sun will give way to more clouds for today, and there'll be a thunderstorm in some places during the afternoon. The high will be near 90. Warm and humid with a low of 72 tonight. A thunderstorm for some spots late tonight into tomorrow. Otherwise, partly sunny, hot, and humid tomorrow with a high around 90. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm are mostly later in the day Sunday, high 85. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We are seeing some sunshine around the area. Still some clouds, though. 74 in Florissant, 73 in St. Peters, and 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. A major gift from the owner of St. Louis City SC will help a regional health system provide much more than just medical treatment to improve the well-being of patients. Joining me now on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line is Karen Bradshaw, Regional Director of Community Health for SSM Health. Karen, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here.
This is a $10 million investment from Carolyn Kindle to the SSM Health Foundation, St. Louis, to launch the St. Louis Community Health Impact Fund. Talk about just how major a gift like this is.
It is truly exciting and even more importantly, transformational. This gift, which will launch the Impact Fund, really empowers SSM Health St. Louis to deepen, expand expand, strengthen our engagement and partnership with our patients regarding all those factors outside of direct medical care that impact their health and well-being, and partner with community-based organizations who are experts in really addressing those needs, increasing their capacity and broadening services in the region. It's really, truly an exciting opportunity.
You mentioned the factors that are outside of the healthcare system. What are some of those challenges or barriers for individuals to have better health?
Sure. When we think about what are those factors that keep us healthy, well, and give us the ability to thrive, studies show us that access to direct medical care, which is obviously what SSM Health focuses on and what we strive to be exceptional at, is only about 20% of the factors that keep us healthy. Where we live, how we live, who we live with, what we eat, opportunities for education, employment, all of those factors really have a huge impact on our overall health and well-being. When you think about it, for those folks that have something that caused them to go to a hospital, we get you healthy, or we try to get you far along in recovery to go home, right? We say we often leave a hospital to go home and recover. Well, imagining not having a home to go home to, or so many medical conditions, diabetes, hypertension, congestive heart failure, and not having access to healthy foods to eat, or food in general, has such a profound impact on somebody's ability to be healthy and well. So we're really trying to think beyond what we do best, which is that provision of direct medical care, to thinking about how we can really grow and expand our partnerships to impact the health and wellness of our patients and our community.
What are some of the partners that you're likely to work with?
We have, for the last couple years, have been partnering with the St. Louis Area Food Bank for a program that we call our Bread Basket Program. This is a general food insecurity initiative where inpatients who feel safe enough to tell us they're experiencing food insecurity are provided with enough non-perishable, healthy food when they discharge for about 3 days for their entire household. And once they're discharged, they're contacted by the team at the St. Louis Area Food Bank for ongoing support directly where they live, connecting to emergency food pantries, exploring opportunities for applying for longer-term benefits such as SNAP and WIC. And that partnership we've had for 3 years, that will roll into part of our initiatives under this new Impact Fund, and we hope to continue working with them to deepen and strengthen that program. And then we also just began partnerships for our neighbors who are experiencing homelessness for what is called medical respite. The medical respite provided by Haven Recovery Homes and Live Sober Living provides safe 24-hour shelter, safe place to recover, safe place to begin to address many of the factors that may be impacting why folks are experiencing homelessness, help with transportation back to the hospital for follow-up appointments. Future initiatives will continue to deepen, whether it's within food and nutrition security, housing insecurity, looking at things like transportation. Those factors and things that patients share with us are the biggest barriers to them being healthy and well.
Karen, is this something that you'll be measuring to really demonstrate the impact and where these dollars are being used?
Yes, that is a huge priority. In fact, this fund, as we roll it out, we talk about it having 3 pillars. Any initiative that we are going to take on with the Community Health Impact Fund has to meet 3 pillars. It has to have a direct impact on patients. It has to be partnering with a community-based organization or organizations that align with our mission, that the partnership helps not only patients, but that organization serve the broader community. And then that's the third pillar is really the impact on the health system. This is really meant to demonstrate how concerted investment and partnerships, we can really move some of those needles that are causing disparities in healthcare for our patients, our community. So yes, we will be measuring. We really hope to track this over time. And an investment like this really gives us the ability to do that.
This is Karen Bradshaw, Regional Director of Community Help for SSM Health. Karen, thank you so much for your time this morning.
I appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
It's now 8:17. Dan Deerdorf being honored tonight. Sports Director Tom Ackerman and Chris Ranji remind us of the KMOX connection.
Ah, yes, the Big Red. Those were the days of the 1970s in St. Louis. What a team. And one of the anchor of the offensive line in those days was the Pro Football Hall of Famer, Dan Deerdorf, a Missouri Broadcasters Association Hall of Famer. There will be 7 members joining the Missouri Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame at Margaritaville Lake Resort at the Lake of the Ozarks. And we are excited to have Dan Deerdorf back on KMOX. Hi, Dan.
Where in the heck? You've got some archives to go back and find that music.
Yeah. What does that remind you
I'll
of?
tell you what, it's the second it started, I knew exactly what it was.
What does it mean to you, Dan? John Rooney, our great friend, is going to be the MC on this Friday evening, and you get honored as a broadcaster. You know, while your national work is so well known, Dan, I know that means a lot to you to be recognized locally because this is where it all started.
Well, and it all started at KMOX, and I owe it all to Robert Hyland, who gave me a chance. He supported me. He was just hugely instrumental in any success I had. And to think that I was fortunate enough to sit in the sports office there at KMOX, and my boss, of course, was Jack Buck, who was the sports director. And I look to my left and I'm looking at Bob Costas. I'm looking at Bill Wilkerson. I'm looking at Dan Kelley. I'm looking at Bob Starr. It just goes on and on and on. And to think that I was able to cut my teeth and to learn the right way to be a broadcaster, to think that I had a chance to do that at KMOX, I was so fortunate.
How well do you remember that very first conversation where they say to you, hey, we want you to do this. We want you to give this a try, and we're going to bring you in. Do you remember much about that?
Oh, I remember specifically because I was still a player. I had an opportunity to be in the off season, working at KMOX, developing time behind the microphone, but I was still a member of the football Cardinals. And I started my career, the last year I played was 1983. I started to work at KMOX in 1976. And so I had years worth of experience, and I had a job waiting for me at KMOX, which was an unbelievable luxury for me to be able to continue my football career and at the same time to know exactly what I was going to do when my football playing days concluded.
That is Dan Deerdorf. He will be inducted into the Missouri Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame tonight. Let's check the roads, especially those problems for Illinois drivers. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we still have the issues downtown, Megan. This traffic reports a service at Capital One westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. We've still got this crash at the Missouri end of the bridge block, and the 2 left lanes is jammed westbound 64 back to almost 25th Street now. And again, if you want to alternate bridges, well, the Eads Bridge is just kind of slow at the Missouri end, but the King Bridge, of course, that's the interstate exit, is completely jammed from 64 all the way over to the Missouri side. The only one that remains wide open is the Mutual Veterans Bridge. There are no delays going that route right now. Other than that, we also have a crash on the Illinois side, southbound 255 at 111, just south of Bethalto Regional Airport. There's about maybe a half-mile jam at most coming through that area. Otherwise, interstates on both sides of the river continue to roll. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a warm day today. We'll have sunshine to start, more clouds as the day goes on with a thunderstorm possible this afternoon. Expect a high near 90. Right now, we have mostly sunny skies, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Brought to you by Capital One.
offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts, and Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank guide. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft chews, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, Carol.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
In case you missed it, Total Information AM catches you up on the week's biggest news every Friday. The budget battle between the state-appointed police board and St. Louis City Mayor Kara Spencer continues. Now the police chief and fire officials weighing in. Here's the latest. The board has proposed a $2.3 million increase in salary for command staff. It would also give professional staff employees a raise. Mayor Spencer has called it incredibly irresponsible, saying the city was not told of the raises until 36 hours before the meeting.
The finalization of the city's budget is now in chaos.
The issue being delayed until a meeting later this month. Board President Chris Saraceno says while he understands the delay, he's still disappointed.
The men and women of our command staff have gone well and above and earned every a raise.
Speaking on KMOX's Chris and Amy show this week, Saraceno says the raise proposal isn't something new. It was included in a February proposal.
Conversations around our professional staff as well as our commanders have been going on since January. The continuous timing of investing is now.
To complicate things further, law requires there be parity between the city's police and fire departments.
This parity that's going on here has held the police department back from being competitive.
Chief of Police Robert Tracy says he means no disrespect to colleagues in the fire department, but argues the city cannot use the mandated pay parity as an excuse to refuse his command staff raises.
If the excuse to say you can't make this St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department competitive because you have to pay the firemen, then find out a way to pay the firemen or change the rules.
The firefighters union bristling at those comments. The deadline to finalize a budget July 1st. We'll keep following the story. The largest budget in Illinois state history passed in the wee hours of Monday morning.
A lot of the big changes were really on the revenue side, not so much on the spending side. There's very little new spending. It's pretty much exactly the same as what the state's currently doing.
The spending plan totals roughly $56 billion. Capitol News Illinois lead budget reporter Ben Solinsky says notable additions largely centered around new taxes on companies doing business in the state, including social media companies.
They're going to have to pay a user fee based on the number of users they have in Illinois.
And fantasy sports operators will face a 15% tax as the industry transitions into a licensed business in the state. The Illinois legislature did freeze the 1.3 cent gas tax increase that's slated for July 1st, pushing it to January. The budget plan also creates a sales tax holiday on school supplies from August 7th through the 16th. Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to look at why the price you pay for airline tickets may be going up. It's already about 20% higher for some fares. Peter Greenberg will join us next on Total Information AM. It's 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
We often hear the words retirement and annuity used in the same sentence, but it's important to know that not all annuities are the same. If you're not sure, it may be time for an annuity x-ray. Steve All and the team at the All Financial Group can review your annuity. Call Steve at 636-230-8824 and at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original Red Ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at CrawfordButts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's CrawfordButts.com.
8:30. Let's check on the roads for you. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Any better in Illinois, Roger?
No, not really, Megan. This traffic report's a service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. We have jam. Now, the good news is it looks like they've got at least the lanes open on the bridge, but we still have the jam. They just cleared the crash about 4 minutes ago, I guess, something like that. So it's moving about mid-span across the bridge, but we still have a jam almost to 25th Street, or at least it's slow at 25th Street, and jam from the 70 split across the Poplar. The King Bridge is still a solid jam, leaving the interstate all the way over. So, again, if you're in a hurry, if you're running late, the Eads Bridge just has backed up traffic at the Missouri end all across the landing, and there are no delays at all if you take the Musial Veterans Bridge. So still quite a mess downtown, but at least it looks like the crash is cleared, so we should see some improvements. Other than that, there's just a little slowdown northbound 270 approaching the Clayton Road overpass, and we still have this little bit of a jam up. We have this crash southbound 255 at 111 over in Bethalto, a shorter jam there now. It looks like they may be getting that one wrapped up as well. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family-operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
It is going to be a warm day today. We're looking for a high near 90. We'll see some sunshine this morning, more clouds throughout the day, a thunderstorm possible as well. Right now, we have mostly sunny skies, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. It's time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Main Street is slamming the brakes on hiring. The number of small businesses saying they're planning new hires has dropped to a 6-year low. According to the National Federation of Independent Business, 9% of entrepreneurs plan to create new jobs in the next 3 months. Rising energy costs and economic uncertainty may be holding companies back. Turning to trading, the Dow hit an all-time high yesterday, rising 875 points to finish the day. However, it was a rough day for chip makers on a disappointing forecast from Broadcom. And public transit systems are seeing more riders. Transportation agencies in Los Angeles, Boston, Chicago, and other cities are reporting growing ridership. Experts say it remains unclear to what extent gas prices are driving a switch to public transit versus other factors such as return to office mandates. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Taking care of your health shouldn't feel complicated. That's why we created NeoVitan to make nutrition easy. Our doctor-formulated vitamins are designed for real life and delivered straight to your door with our monthly subscription. No guesswork, no running out. Just clean, high-quality supplements manufactured in the USA using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Subscribe today at neovitan.com and take one simple step toward better daily nutrition. Visit neovitan.com and start making nutrition easy today.
Cowboy, is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Taking care of your health shouldn't feel complicated. That's why we created NeoVitan to make nutrition easy. Our doctor-formulated vitamins are designed for real life and delivered straight to your door with our monthly subscription. No guesswork, no running out. Just clean, high-quality supplements manufactured in the USA using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Subscribe today at neovitan.com and take one simple step toward better daily nutrition. Visit neovitan.com and start making nutrition easy today.
City SC's Summer of Soccer, presented by Purina, kicks off on Friday, June 12th with the biggest soccer celebration in St. Louis. This festival-style watch party on Lou Fuse Plaza at Energizer Park is free for all and open to the public. Show up at 5 p.m. for live music, local food and drink, giveaways, special appearances, and a live viewing of USA versus Paraguay on 5 massive screens. Learn more at summerofsoccerstl.com.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600. S&L Coins, 544-3600. Or visit S&L Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call S&L 544-3600. Artistic Decks. For 26 years, we've been making dreams affordable in the St. Louis area. With an A-plus BBB rating, we're the team you can trust. Let us build your dream deck. Artistic Decks. For a free consultation, call us at 314-280-0821.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. There's a greater chance you'll get bumped from a flight this travel season. Let's find out why. From our KMOX travel editor, Peter Greenberg, host of Peter Greenberg Worldwide, here Saturdays here on KMOX. Good morning, Peter.
And good morning, Megan.
So are we expecting a surge of air travelers this summer that flights would get that full?
Well, it's not about a surge of air travelers. Believe it or not, it's about the airlines doing a scheduled triage, canceling thousands of flights because of rising fuel prices, which means that with fewer flights, even with demand dropping, the planes are full. And when the planes are that full, the airlines tend to overbook. And when they overbook, that's when people get bumped. But there's different kinds of bumping. You've been on a plane, I've been on a plane where they say, does anybody want to volunteer to give up their seat and take a later flight? We'll give you a voucher for a certain amount of cash and get you on the next flight. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something else. If nobody volunteers, or if they've oversold the plane to the point where there are just not enough volunteers, that's when involuntary denied boarding comes in, IDB, and that's when it gets a little crazy. Last year, American Airlines threw off 14,000 passengers that had no choice. They threw them off the plane, gave them minimal compensation. They really overbooked those flights. American was responsible for 60% of all involuntary denied boardings. But let me give you the comparison. How many did United bump last year? Ready? Only about 309. That's it. Southwest about 226. And Delta bumped nobody. So we're dealing with corporate philosophy here about what's acceptable to the airlines, but now at least you know what you're up against.
Well, and so tickets are jumping in price, and they could go up even more. I just have a feeling this problem is going to get even worse for air travelers right now.
Yeah, your feeling is shared by me. We're seeing airfares right now domestically between 20 and 24% higher than they were in February. But remember, that's an average. On some routes, it's much higher. International fares are up 41% in many cases above what they were in February. But I'll give you an example. Let's go back to February. The average airfare, let's say to and from St. Louis, was about $300. You know what it is today? About $600, almost double. On some routes, let's say Los Angeles to New York, the average airfare was about $360. Yesterday, the average was $933 for a round-trip ticket. Ouch.
So let's talk about something a little more fun than what we're going to be paying in airfare. Let's talk about FIFA World Cup coming up. Of course, we've got some games that are here in Missouri and the Kansas City area. I'm wondering if there are any tickets left anywhere to see a World Cup game at this point.
Officially, no. Unofficially, you bet there are. And I'll tell you why. Because so many foreign travelers, obviously the real crazy soccer fans from Europe, are not coming because of visa immigration policies and just the fear of not being able to come to the United States, whether that's real or just imagined, they're not showing up. And as a result, there's been about a double-digit drop in foreign travel to the U.S. during the FIFA games. What does that mean? Last week, FIFA gave back 10,000 hotel rooms they no longer need. So you know what that means in terms of tickets. They all have an official very high premium attached to them. But as you get closer to the games, watch those ticket prices come down. Will the stadiums be full? Of course they will, with Americans buying last-minute discounted tickets.
Peter, thank you so much.
You got it.
That is Peter Greenberg, heard Saturdays on KMOX. This Saturday, you can hear him at 7 o'clock here on 104.1 FM KMOX. Let's see how things are moving on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have this jam downtown, Megan, getting across the Papa Street Bridge. I did hear the IDOT guys say that they still have one lane closed, so they got an extra lane open there, but it's still restricted, and it's still jamming traffic. In fact, westbound 64 is still a solid jam back through Baugh Avenue, and the King Bridge is still a solid jam as you leave the interstate all the way across the Eads Bridge has heavy traffic at the Missouri end at the landing. So, the Musial Veterans Bridge is wide open as your alternate. You should take that if you can. And we still see just a little bit of a delay. It's more on the exit lane now. Southbound 255 coming through 111 in Bethalto. We had a crash on the highway, but looks like it's pretty well cleared, but there's still a little bit of congestion left over there. Otherwise, the rest of these interstates are looking great. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Gravois Bluffs. Come visit us now. The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself and shop the latest in living rooms, bedrooms, and more. Visit Haverty's now in Gravois Bluffs.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on 104.1 FM, King of OX.
Happy Friday, John Hancock.
It's not that happy.
Where are we?
We're at the Spirit Airport Signature Aviation.
We're meeting here because the Chris and Amy show is broadcasting all day long from
all day,
all the way till noon from the air show. Now, less than 100 yards from where we're at are the Blue Angels.
Yep.
Did you walk over and look at them?
No, I'm in their airplanes.
Do you think you could fit in one of the cockpits?
Oh, buddy. Probably.
Yeah. How many times you've flown a private plane in your life? In a private plane?
Oh. 100?
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah.
Dude, does it scare you?
No.
No?
Although I had when I was running for Secretary of State, I had a Coro fellow.
Okay.
And we were doing a fly around news conferences statewide.
Okay.
So we're on a tiny little plane. And she wanted to go, sits in the back seat, and got sick.
Oh.
So my entire news conference, you had that
smell?
Yes.
Oh, that's terrible.
Not good.
I was in Hawaii on a helicopter tour.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law and I were on the helicopter, and then two young gals that were from, on vacation as well, not a part of our group.
Right.
Halfway through the flight,
Boom.
The lady, Ralph's into the bag. It's now with us for the remaining 20 minutes. And the whole time we're just like, can't we go home? Can't we just go back? I don't really want to look at this beauty all that much.
Yeah, that's tough. Man, these planes are loud out here.
Yeah, it sounds pretty loud, doesn't it? But, hey, it is what it is.
So
tell me, you last week,
yes,
I heard the show, and you won $2,500.
$2,500. So it's a scratch-off ticket.
I think we should go to break.
Yeah.
Should we? All right, yeah, tell us the story.
So I was at the neighbor's house, Jim and Kathy, and so we lost the trivia contest. The neighbors.
That's hard to believe because you're one of the Cliff Clavins of my life.
Yeah,
you
but
know some
we
useless
lost.
stuff.
So the winners got 10 scratch-off tickets. The losers got 1.
Okay.
So my scratch-off ticket was you had to get to $1 or more with the coins at the, on the scratching off.
Right.
So I'm scratching. I got a 1 cent, 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, 60 cents.
Yeah.
$1.02. I scratch off $2,500 I won.
How about that?
It was incredible. So, how do you collect? And so
it's over amount. You just can't go into a gas station
No,
and they won't hang you $2,500.
correct. So you have to go to the lottery office. So I looked up and you have to make an appointment.
Okay.
So I make an appointment with the lottery office. I find it difficult. It's kind of tucked away out there. So I take my winning ticket into the lottery office. I show it to the lady, and she adds everything up. She says, well, congratulations. You've got to fill out these multiple forms.
Okay.
So I spend the next 15 minutes filling out multiple forms to collect my $2,500.
Nice.
And then she scans the ticket. And she says, it says this is not a winning ticket. I said, well, it's $1.02. It's a winning ticket. So she looks at it and she scans it again. And she goes to a different machine, scans it on that. She said, I don't know there's something wrong. Let me go get my supervisor. So she goes back and gets the supervisor. The supervisor looks at it. She adds up the numbers. And, I don't understand. We may have to send this to Jefferson City. I said, whatever. being very patient. And then the supervisor pulls a quarter out of her pocket, Michael.
Okay.
And she scratches the ticket again. And what all of us read to be 60 was 50.
Oh, boy.
I lost. I lost.
So all of this celebration.
Yes.
Thinking had you spent the $2,500 already?
In my head.
Yeah. No, but it wasn't like you committed it
No.
I'm going to take Georgianne on a trip to the Lake of the Ozarks and we're going to live the high life.
Yeah,
No?
No. I'd spent it in my head.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. So that's the story of my winning lottery ticket.
When we let's take a quick little break.
Let's do
step
that.
aside. We'll come back. We'll talk a little politics after this right here on KMOX.
Tomorrow, some of us will wake up and it will be our last day on this earth. It will be unexpected and without warning. Each year, 250,000 people will die from medical malpractice, the third leading cause of death in America. 43,000 will die in a car or truck crash. 6,000 will die working on the job. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and we represent many of these families. It's awful. Unfortunately, many times some of these family members are not speaking and never get to say, I'm sorry or goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough. Death without closure and love will follow you the rest of your days. Trust me on this. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched the playoffs and earned dome field advantage. Playoff football is coming back to St. Louis. Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at UFLBattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now. Cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Welcome back to Hancock and Kelley. I'm Michael Kelley. That right there is John Hancock. We're out at Spirit of St. Louis Airport today because they have the air show going on.
The Blue Angels, buddy.
Their Blue Angels are right here. Amy is out fangirling the Blue Angels planes. I think she's in the hopes that she's going to see one of these pilots. I don't think they'll take her up, though, do you?
She won't go up.
No. I don't think she'd go up. Hey, John, 2 months away from the primary elections. As we know, you and I have been talking nonstop. That is what's going to decide who runs most of the positions of substance here in the St. Louis area.
In the country, 85% of elected officials are chosen in primaries because November elections are just generally non-competitive.
Are you surprised that we're not seeing more advertisement, more focus as early voting in some of these places starts here in less than 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, so much of the political communication has shifted to highly targeted streaming services and not over-the-air traditional broadcast. Which is a very expensive way to reach voters. So I suspect the campaigns are talking to the voters through other means other than traditional broadcast.
So if you're out in St. Charles, it's likely you're seeing stuff on your Facebook.
Right.
If you're in St. Louis County, parts of St. Louis County, you're seeing stuff on social media.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that's pervasive everywhere is Donald Trump. It's just a part of who he is. His polling continues to tank, John, with this war. At the same time, the Republicans, particularly those in the United States Senate, are starting to get a little fearful of Donald Trump and what the consequences of their relationship with them might be in this upcoming primary. Are you surprised that we're finally starting to see some Republicans, particularly in the Senate, have some backbone in their pushback?
They've got backbone because they're not going back. You've got Bill Cassidy got defeated in a primary. John Cornyn got defeated in a primary. And so, it's a lot easier to be independent when you're done. And I think that's really what's happening in the U.S. Senate. Now, because of what we just discussed, the fact that the primary election is determinative of who's going to win in November, even though Donald Trump is unpopular nationally, he's still got a very big stick inside the Republican Party, and these primary elections are what determines whether a member of Congress or a U.S. senator is going to go back to their job. So that's why the level of kowtowing that we've seen is off the charts.
But there's, in the past, when the president's in charge, it's an off-cycle election. Many times the senators, the congressional people try to distance themselves from the president because it just is political suicide. They don't want to be held accountable for the decisions that are being made in Washington, D.C. That's not something Donald Trump's going to allow these candidates to do. And in fact, he's going out and supporting candidates that are going to support him.
Right.
People on my side of the aisle are salivating. They think this is the time that Democrats are finally going to get a chance to take Texas, that they might have a chance in some of the Carolinas, that we might be able to win Maine from Susan Collins. And what's common for all of those Republican candidates is they're having to deal with Donald Trump's baggage, not their own.
Yeah, in the handful of these races that are competitive in November, the Democrats are going to do pretty well. I don't think they're going to take Texas. I really don't. But in Maine, the Democratic candidate's got that sexting scandal. And Susan Collins is how she has survived all of these elections is remarkable. Maybe she's got the secret sauce or something. But in order to take the Senate, the Democrats are going to have to win in North Carolina. They're going to have to win in Ohio. There's a lot of these places where it's a tall order for the Democrats to take the Senate, but they definitely have a shot, and a better looking shot today than it was 6 months ago.
And that spells real problems for the administration. I think we all know that the Congress is going to go to the Democrats, even with all of the gerrymandering that's tilting mainly towards the Republicans. It's not going to be as big a win as Democrats were anticipating, but they're going to win this Congress.
Well, some of that may blow up in our faces because, you're drawing these districts, you're creating more plus Republican districts, but you're taking plus Republican districts and drawing them down to make them more competitive in a cycle where Democrat turnout is going to be off the charts. Republican turnout could be lethargic. And, this whole scheme may end up blowing up in the Republicans' faces and backfiring and costing them seats.
So do the Democrats win the House?
Yes.
What about the Senate?
Probably yes, but that's a tougher, tighter climb.
Anybody in the St. Louis, both sides of the river, anybody potentially vulnerable from what you see? Obviously, Democrats are excited about the opportunity to maybe take on Ann Wagner, but that's a district that's changed. It's not really a St. Louis County district anymore.
Yeah, and it's a different district. It's a better Republican district now under the new map than it was under the old. So I suspect she's going to be fine. I don't see any changes in the metro area.
Well, we're out here in God's country today. We're going to stick around and visit with
Missouri, buddy.
This is God's country. All this wind, all this noise, all this traffic. This is what you're all clamoring to be a part of.
Everything's happening out here,
buddy. It's all happening down in the city. That's where I need to be. I got to pack a lunch to get home.
That's Michael Kelley. I'm John Hancock. Chris and Amy are coming up next, and they're going to have a fun-filled show right here on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
Your sleep habits could be an early warning sign for Alzheimer's. A new study from UC San Diego reveals that for older women with a high genetic risk, poor